Operation Green Flag. Speedway in Port Colborne, Ontario. The off-season, it's been the longest one ever. We made it just a little bit longer for you, but we are ready to go with some racing here at this dirt track in southern Ontario. My name's Greg Kellman. With me is Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey. And Adam, it's not the same without the fans here tonight. I'll tell you, it is a weird feeling, but we're going to do something special for the fans at home.
You know, and I'll tell you what, Greg, so many people have come together tonight. Operation Green Flag, Mission Humberstone Speedway, dirt modifieds, Thunderstocks. I mean, the Thunderstocks just kept coming and coming and coming out of the pits. The cars look beautiful. It is going to be two action-packed divisions. They drew for starting spot in their heat races. There's going to be a redraw for the feature. And, of course, Greg, tonight, the lockdown showdown. But the big thing to me in all of this is the people that had to come together and work together to make this happen, Greg.
Yeah, and it's not just the drivers coming from different tracks to make this happen, but different officials and people behind the scenes that make this happen. And, of course, we couldn't have done any of this without Dave Bittner here at Humberstone Speedway. And he has got to be smiling ear to ear to see the sun is out. A great crowd of cars in the pit area, and we are live online to broadcast this race here tonight. It's been an exciting thing to see all these people pull together for a common cause and bring us some racing in such a drawn-out time.
Dave Bittner was the first one to roll the dice, but they've brought in race officials from different racetracks. We've put the band together. This is the entire crew from Friday Night Excitement at Ohsweken Speedway. So, Greg, you, me, Clinton, Jeffrey, but we've also got our camera operator. Sean's up on the roof. Greg's down in turn one. Where's Dave? Dave is with Clint on the infield tonight. We are going to have some amazing views of this racetrack to call the action tonight, folks, and we couldn't be happier to be here. Teams have traveled from Quebec. This is unheard of, even when there's series races in the area at Merrittville down the road. And folks, tonight we can talk about any racetrack in Ontario because everyone has come together to share the goodwill. Sponsors have stepped up to help make this happen. It is an unusual circumstance, but everyone is here to present racing because not only do the fans need it, Greg, but my God, I need it. It has been so freaking long since I smelled race fuel. I mean, I should keep some at home, but it's dangerous.
I got to tell you, the first time to watch a car out on the track today, it felt like the first time ever. It was that good to watch, and it was Steve Bernier I saw pull out of corner 4. Just that smell, that sound. It's an exciting time here at Humberstone Speedway. You talk about the diversity, you talk about the drivers coming from Quebec. Well, if you've got a home track in southern Ontario, you've got some drivers here because we've got a good contingent from down in the Chatham area, from the Ohsweken Speedway area, from, of course, here in the Golden Horseshoe, but also if you're a Brockville, Ontario Speedway fan, Ryan Arbuthnot made the trip down here as well. And, of course, as you mentioned, Brighton Speedway's got a number of their Thunderstock drivers here, too. So it's a great cross-section of racers.
Operation Green Flag was put together, and let's admit it, it was after kind of Dave Bittner wanted to put on a race and Don Spees at Merrittville wanted to put on a race. People found out about it. Operation Green Flag is going to visit Flamborough Speedway next Saturday. We're going to be on the air a little bit earlier. It'll be 2 o'clock next week for late models and Canadian vintage modifieds. In 2 weeks' time, we're at Merrittville Speedway. And then after, like, the schedule goes on, all of these racers and race teams, the demand has been coming from the racers, from the tracks. I mean, the fans are hungry for it. We can see that by the people that have shown up. We're having a great look right now at Clinton Nichols' 43-old Don Biederman throwback car, which is beautiful. And I'm talking a lot. Oh, my goodness. Tell me to shut up.
Well, you're excited. You're allowed to be on a night like tonight. This is great to see. And I think of all of this, the only problem that was created was some drivers said, I'm not ready. I wasn't expecting this, and they had a quick turnaround to get their cars pieced together. I'm sure there's a few that are at home thinking, I just didn't have time to get it ready because, to be honest, we didn't think we'd be here tonight. We didn't think we'd get to see live racing for quite some time, but we're going to bring it to you here this evening as we got some 358 modifieds over there in the chute, and we've got some names here in that division that are going to put on a good show as well.
Oh, they sure are. And I think it's modifieds in general. People are allowed to run a big block tonight, if I'm not mistaken, if they have one. I thought it was opened up. But don't quote me on rules. I like to stay away from rules. But let's talk about the rules of the race. The lockdown showdown. So the Thunderstocks are going to run 25 laps straight up for a great purse, $1,000 to win for these Thunderstock drivers. But the modifieds are going to run two 25-lap segments. It is one 50-lap race. At the 25-lap mark, they shut it down and they take a break. And the drivers choose to either go to their pit stall and work on their cars and give up their starting spot, or to stay in line, lock the car down, and get ready for the final 25.
And that's the exciting thing, is when you bring in some strategy, it makes the teams think what they have to do, what are they going to do, and oftentimes you can plan those things in the shop and you can say, oh yeah, okay, we get to lap 25 and we're here, we'll do this. I know you guys talked to Matt Williamson on Race Rivals Chat a couple of weeks ago, and he said they had some plans in mind. I guarantee you, we get down to that lockdown break, there's probably a whole nother strategy they didn't think about that they may go for, or the car might handle just a little bit and they'll say, you know what, no, let's do this. So it's going to be an interesting night tonight with that strategy, and cars are on the racetrack for the first time here in competition in 2020.
And we just talked about him, driver on the pole from down Brockville Way in that R70, Ryan Arbuthnot. For years he's followed the dirt modified tour, and I believe he would have raced here before in a sportsman car, Greg.
Yeah, he's made his way up through the ranks, makes the long haul from Renfrew, Ontario, goes from the pole in the Valley Sales and Equipment car number R70 to his outside in the Seaway Fluid, Power Fluid 71. That is Mike Bowman. Back there in row number 2, the 08 is Mark Delario in the Mobile 1 Esso machine, and to his outside, make the trip from down in Quebec is the 25B. That'll be Steve Bernier. Steve Bernier in the 25B out of St. Hyacinthe, Quebec, in the Two Brothers Racing machine. And in the back row, brand new number for this guy, Gary Lindbergh, driving the Sittler Racing 37S, sponsored by Jacassa Motor Speedway. As they tussle a little bit on the start, Ryan Arbuthnot had problems. The car didn't go. And also back in that back row, of course, the 18R of Brad Rouse. As we are not going to get the green on that, the caution flag comes out. As Ryan Arbuthnot, either the car didn't go or he decided he wasn't going to go.
Well, we'll know real soon. Let's see when he pulls up beside Delario. Didn't give him a look, didn't give him a gesture or anything. Normally there'd be some kind of indication, hey, don't do that again. He could have thought Mike Bowman got a jump and didn't want to fire. He might not have known we were going green. You never know, Greg. But Doug Leonard recalls the start. We're going to stack him up again and try one more time.
It's going to take a while to get used to Gary Lindbergh in the 37S.
The big Jukasa sign on
helps.
The quarter panel helps me a great deal.
Gary, he's another one that's worked his way up through the ranks and now is a contender at every track he goes to. That's a good start. Ryan Arbuthnot will lead them down into corner 1.
Arbuthnot leading Mike Bowman. Bowman going to cross him over, head to the inside out of turn number 2. New race leader into 3 is Mike Bowman.
Bowman comes through corner number 4, riding the high side. The Seaway Fluid Power car number 71 leads him into corner 1. Arbuthnot now feeling a little pressure from Mark Delario and Bergeron back there in the 25B.
Arbuthnot's able to get into the corner all right, but he's scrubbing off a bit more speed through the center than is Delario. All of these drivers, this will be a new layout for all of them because improvements have been made by Dave Bittner and his team down here at Humberstone. So far, I got to say, Greg, I'm pretty impressed with the work that's been done.
Yeah, it's looking great here at Humberstone Speedway, and from what I've heard, corner 1 is a totally different drive now than what it used to be. And here we see them trucking through 1 and 2 with Mike Bowman leading over Ryan Arbuthnot. And here comes Steve Bernier, I'll get that right, in the 25B, looking for the 3rd position. He'll slip by Delario, who also opens the door for Lindbergh.
Here comes Brad Rouse to make a move on Delario. Of course, Rouse a sportsman racer, and you know he's driving the wheels off that thing. Trouble, turn number 2.
Caution flag will fly for Brad Rouse in the 18R.
Brad, a long-time dirt sportsman racer, here to run with the modifieds tonight. And Greg, I was just about to note, he had only fallen off a handful of car lengths from the pack. As this track gets used up tonight and starts to dry out, you're going to see that gap.
Back to the green flag as Mike Bowman leads him under the flag stand and into corner 1.
Arbuthnot trying to close in on Delario, but they are both stout runners out there, so it's going to be tough. But Arbuthnot, he looks to be pretty healthy in the R70. And Shane Pierce, I saw, commented on our feed, Ryan Arbuthnot has indeed raced at Humberstone Speedway when they had a 358 modified series race.
Mike Bowman working it off of corner number 4 another time over Steve Bernier and Gary Lindbergh. Top 9 will redraw tonight in an online version. We'll do a Yellow Magic, I'm calling it here tonight, where they will have an electronic spinner and determine the top 9 for tonight's lockdown showdown with 2 laps left to go in this first qualifying heat.
2 to go. Bernier closing in on Mike Bowman. Bowman getting off the corners really well in that 71 machine. Bernier drives it in deep and closes that gap. A learning experience for a driver who's traveled a long way, but a nice run in second spot.
Gary Lindbergh right there, the same distance back in the 3rd position, and then we got a good fight for 4th. It's Rouse, Delario, and Arbuthnot. The checkers are going to wave, and Mike Bowman's going to pick up the win over Steve Bernier and Gary Lindbergh. So they will redraw for tonight's feature event. And it's Brad Rouse 4th, Mark Delario 5th, and Ryan Arbuthnot will complete the running order in this first qualifying heat of the night for the modifieds.
The other thing we should mention, Greg, this was made possible because of amazing work done by various promoters and track owners who presented the government with a plan, which was accepted. Racing with no fans. As we look back to the pit area, we see people distance. It's almost strange to see people 6 feet apart at the fence way back there to get a view of what's going on. But a lot of people have had to be very responsible, doing a great job so far. I'm pleasantly impressed and surprised with how well that's going.
It's like a dream come true for me because I've always wanted a little more distance between us, and now I have an excuse to ask you to just move over a little farther. Although I noticed you elbowed your way into the pizza box earlier on and broke some restrictions.
I noticed you put the pizza on your side of the room. It's like Potsy and Ralph when they had to put the tape halfway through the apartment until one realized they could get to the bathroom but not the refrigerator, and the other one had the opposite problem.
It's good to be back, isn't it?
It's great to be back. You know, we had a few growing pains here tonight, trying to get things up and running, and
well, we got to thank our crack staff, Spencer Mullen and Clinton Jeffrey, especially setting everything up here tonight. Daniel over there in the booth as well. They worked so hard to get everything set up. You and I just kind of leisurely pull up and set up and stuff. Where's the microphone? Good job by them. We'll have Clinton here on the broadcast a little bit later on since we have solutions as well. You guys got a 2 for the modifieds. Scott Gordon on the side. It's Tanner Podwinski in the 72. He's from Smithville in the Stonecast Contracting. Alden Rentz, car number 72. Inside of row number 2, the 3RS. That's Dalton Slack, Transport Sales and Service Machine. And lining up on his outside, I believe that will be the 1P tonight. Stephenville, Ontario's Darren Peters in the Peters Construction Group ride. And back there in car number 96 out of Montreal, Quebec, JF Corriveau in the Grinders Steakhouse 96C. Also out there is the S&W Service Centers. Number 6, Matt Williamson. How could I forget him in the lineup? Look at him up to the 2nd spot. And I've heard we've got an onboard camera throughout the night. We'll be able to check aboard that number 6, Matt Williamson.
We've got a lot of people doing a lot of jobs as we watch Matt Williamson working the wheel behind the wheel of that 6 machine, and he is chasing down Gordon for the top spot in that number 28.
With the lockdown on the border, we're the lucky ones. We get to keep Matt at home here tonight for this big race. Obviously, been one of the biggest and more successful drivers of the Super Dirt Car Series last year. Well, and won basically everything there was to win.
I was going to say, not even the Super Dirt Car Series. His success was Short Track Super Series, Super Dirt Car Series, anything that involved dirt modifieds had Matt Williamson seeing a lot of success as he pitched that car into turn 3 to get a better angle off of 4. Todd Gordon able to hold him off though in that Blue Moon Potatoes number 28. Here comes Williamson to the inside.
Hooked up off the bottom of corner 2 and leaves Todd in the dust, literally going into 3, but here comes Todd back on the bottom as they come down the front stretch wheel to wheel. Matt pitches it in deep in corner 1.
You know, you have to wonder as a racer and a competitor, how did Matt Williamson feel the last few weeks watching streams of dirt modified racing in North Carolina, Louisiana, Maryland, New York, and he couldn't be involved as a Canadian racer, couldn't get across the border? As we have another look on board, look at the determination in his eyes. Man, oh man.
Corner number 4 right now. It's Matt Williamson, Todd Gordon, and Dalton Slack. They're the top 3. They'll go to the redraw at this point in this qualifying heat. JF Corvo started at the back. He's up to the 4th spot. Darren Peters running 5th. Tanner Podwinski back there in the 6th spot.
Also impressive, Dalton Slack, 4th generation racer. His father, Bobby Slack, more known as building race cars and tuning on them, but he was a good racer back in the day in go-karts and the like. Grandfather, Randy Slack, a super late model racer and a big rig truck racer. And of course, great-grandpa Bob Slack drove a truck once in a while. And of course, one of the legendary promoters of all time, promoter of Cayuga Speedway.
Checkers out. Matt Williamson will pick up the win in heat race number 2 with Todd Gordon and Dalton Slack. They'll go to the redraw at intermission time. And then we've got JF Corvo in the 4th spot. 5th will go to Darren Peters and 6th Tanner Podwinski. So 2 qualifying heats in the books. Another one lined up and ready to go over in the pit area.
I got butterflies in my stomach.
Sure that's butterflies, not the pizza?
Well, it could be. I'm just excited. I'm pleased to be here.
Glad to be able to share this with the fans free of charge. I want to thank everyone that's in behind all of that. And big tip of the cap to the entire crew that's making this happen as we get ready for heat race number 3. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast here tonight. Again, my name is Greg Kellman. With me, Adam Ross here in the tower, and joining us shortly, Clinton Jeffrey, as we get ready for this 3rd qualifier. Going from the pole position, that'll be Austin Wood out of Thorold, Ontario, in the Peters Construction Group, car number 1PX. And on his outside, we'll find Adam Leslie out of Port Colborne in the Sterling Lubricants St. Amand Auto and Truck Repair, Best in Contracting, number 15. Lining up behind them in the 2X, that will be, I got one car slow down in corner number 1, but also out there will be the 2X. That's Tom Neal out of Hamilton, the exclusive print and T-Technology Superior Radiant Products, number 2X. And then we've got another driver from down in the Montreal, Quebec area, the Gilles Perreault Workshop 47. It's Simon Harvey Perreault. James Michael Friesen down there in the 52. He's out of Niagara Falls in the Bobcat of Hamilton. 247water.ca Advantage Trailer 52. He'll get the push off down in corner 1 and join this field of 5 cars, top 3 to the redraw, up to the white flag this time around.
Doug Leonard calling the shots from the tower, as he will, I believe, for all of the Operation Green Flag races.
Really is a reunion.
It really is. It's nice to have a glass wall between us as well. Fire and water, Greg. I was going to try to make an ice cream analogy there, but nothing jumped to me. I got to shake the winter rust off.
Green flag coming up here in heat race number 3, the final one for the modifieds here tonight, as Austin Wood and Adam Leslie door to door down in 1 and 2. Adam Leslie in the Sportsman here this evening.
Leslie did some racing this winter. He went down to Florida. Lady Luck was not on his side. They had some troubles, but he's looking good there. He's going to lead lap number 1. Leslie's been at this game a long time. Raced mod lights and then sportsman cars.
Wood back there in second, and it's Tom Neal holding down that third redraw spot, trying to hold off Simon Harvey-Perreault.
As you look through the field of drivers in this one, maybe James Michael Friesen at the back of the field in the 52 has as many or more laps as Adam Leslie, but Leslie has a lot of seat time here at Humberstone Speedway.
Leslie will lead it down the back stretch another time with Wood, Neal in tow. Harvey-Perreault there in fourth, and James Michael Friesen riding in the fifth spot.
Looks as though Leslie's decided the inside is the place for him. If anyone wants to pass him, they're going to have to do it the long way. Watch how close he gets to that tire on the inside of turn number 4. He'll bring the car down into 3, keep it right around the bottom.
Smooth and steady, and I think the real trick right now as the cars go down into 1 and 2 is as soon as you exit that corner 2, there's a full empty field off of corner 3 and 4, and the sun is glaring brightly down the back stretch and right into the driver's eyes. So I'm sure that makes for a bit of an adjustment setting up for corner 3.
It's just got to make you thankful to get to turn 4. Like, oh, I get to rest. Leslie by 2 car lengths down the back straightaway. Wood starting to close that gap, but it doesn't look like Wood has really tried the top of the racetrack, so it's almost like he's settled into second spot, just turning some safe laps out there. But I've been wrong before.
Adam Leslie has that gap close a little bit as Wood's right there working the back Nerf bar. 2 laps left to go as Adam Leslie leads in the Sterling Lubricants number 15.
Wood carried a lot of speed down into turn 1. You saw that left front lock up for just a second there going into the corner. Now he steps up to the outside, does Wood. They're headed to the white flag.
Here comes Wood on the outside, takes a trip around and makes it work. Can he hold off down the backstretch? Wood to the top spot. Leslie back to the second position.
Well, if you're going to have one great pitch, Greg, you might as well wait for the final lap to throw it. And he does. Wood for the win. Leslie comes home in second. Neal going to hang on to third. And that could pay dividends come time for our social distancing redraw.
So modifieds are done with their qualifying heats, and that makes us set and ready for the Thunder Stock Division. They've got a full field of cars here tonight.
Oh, they've got 2 full fields of cars, basically. They are in excess of 30 cars here tonight. So it's going to be important to run well in your heat to get a good position to start the 25-lap feature event. You know, in dirt racing, you've got a lot of opportunity to make passes, Greg, but there is so much talent here tonight.
Oh, there's champions from multiple tracks here this evening, and that's what's going to make it so interesting. And then you add on top of that, everyone's been waiting for, what's it been, 9 months to get racing in this region at least. So they're chomping at the bit. They're that just a little bit more aggressive, I think, in wanting that first win of the season. You look at this field in this first qualifying heat, a stout lineup here this evening. The 96 junior, that is Steve Shaw Jr. out of Merlin. And the Steve Shaw race cars, Hooker Harness number 96 junior. Back there in car number 11, that'll be Go Fast Teeple and the Beamsville Fish and Chips. Lucky Strike Bowling car number 11. And Go Fast Teeple out of Thorold, Ontario. Devin Bacher is back there in the 3B. He's from Hagersville in the Cool Kids Ice and Water Tim's Tires machine, and his outside looks as though it'll be the 07 of Brian Pachetti out of Hamilton. Then that is where we find Clinton Nichols in the 43C. You mentioned his beautiful paint scheme back there, Adam. He'll start in the 5th spot. He's out of Hamilton in the Zorro Muffler MK Security. Beach Road Steel Sales number 43C. Then out of Jerseyville in the Advantage Electric 53. That's Logan Schwedick. Back in row number 4, the 13 out of Brantford, the ShedInADay.com. Number 13 is Casey Huffman. Then we've got the Club 54 Racing number 6 of Jeff Roloffs out of Chatham, Ontario. And Rob Hoskins rounds out this qualifying heat in the 37H. He's from Harley.
Love the look of that Steve Shaw, number 96. We got some bumper tag through the field. Shaw gets out in front with a great start, leaving them to battle side by side for the second position. Casey Huffman in that 13 advance a couple of spots. He takes up the 5th spot.
Shaw out in front, Bacher and Teeple side by side with Nichols. Oh, Bacher slips up in corner 2, spins it around. Everyone avoids contact, and he'll get things straightened out. We'll stay under the green flag.
Don't scratch my car. Don't scratch my car. Everybody misses.
Steve Shaw Jr. out in front. Beautiful race car there that he's got prepared this season. Go fast Teeple in second. Clinton Nichols. And now trouble for Casey Huffman in corner 2 as he slips up there.
Still under green as people take an evasive action, trying to get back onto the racetrack. Now, Greg, if people tuned in this winter to follow the action, they notice a lot of talk about iRacing, a lot of activity on iRacing. I'm not going to say iRacing just makes you a better, yes I am, it makes you a better racer. Look at our top 2. Successful iRacers on the platform, Steve Shaw, Clinton Nichols in the 43C. In fact, let's make an example out of Clinton Nichols. There's a driver, as the yellow flag comes out, there's a driver who has had speed, but not consistent speed, and he certainly has not had consistent success. He has spent many, many hours driving on iRacing and complaining about iRacing, but that's all part of it. I'm real thrilled for him to see him running as well as he does. We have a replay of Bacher going around there in turn number 2.
And he's come to a stop now up over there in the entry to the pit area. That was a lot of fun over the offseason. We did 8 weeks of iRacing to fill the need. And like you mentioned, those top 2, Steve Shaw Jr. and Clinton Nichols, every week are right up there amongst. And in fact, Steve Shaw picked up a win one of the weeks, and his car took a rocket ship to the moon that night after they took the checkered flag.
And Clinton Nichols getting a lot of love on the stream, and well-deserved. He's a good kid.
Hamilton Hot Shoe, as he is known. Here comes Logan Schwedick down to the inside in that 53. He's from Jerseyville. Always a front runner at Ohsweken Speedway on Friday nights.
Clinton Nichols fends him off in that 43C. Schwedick still down on the bottom, but I think Clinton Nichols will get a nice run with the line he ran there through 1 and 2. As I say that, of course, Schwedick gets the advantage. Some things don't change, Greg. Me being wrong is one of them.
At least you admit it once in a while.
I embrace it.
Schwedick to the second spot over Clinton Nichols, and it's go fast Teeple in a good fight between Brian Pachetti and Rob Hoskins. Rob back there in 5th, gets a little sideways in 2. He's had a real tough time in corner 2 the last 2 times by.
Early race season is not the best time for Rob Hoskins. As Schwedick looking to take the lead, works the inside on Steve Shaw Jr.
Schwedick down on the inside line, gets a run on Shaw, going down the backstretch and into corner 3. Shaw really pitches it in there on the high side. This time by, it will be 2 laps left to go in this qualifying heat for the Thunderstocks.
Shaw is working much, much harder in the car than Logan Schwedick. Although Schwedick went into 1 and 2 with a bit of a push there, Schwedick is running the bottom very smooth, almost like we watched Adam Leslie in the modified heat race. Schwedick's running that bottom groove, calm and cool, where Steve Shaw is just tossing that car into the corner. Whoa, almost gets it a little bit too deep into turn number 1, nearly spins it around. Logan Schwedick might have thought that was the checkered flag. Was it the checkered flag? Are we under yellow?
The caution flag.
What did I miss, Greg?
You missed the caution flag, apparently.
Well, I thought maybe Logan thought the white was the checkered and everyone slowed up with him. Coming to the green flag, this will be a green-white checker finish. Logan Schwedick on the point in the 53 machine, alongside Steve Shaw Jr. I believe about a 4-hour tow for Steve Shaw to get here today.
Green flag out. Logan Schwedek will lead them down into corner number 1 with Steve Shaw Jr. hot on his bumper. Clinton Nichols riding there in 3rd as we come to the white flag.
Go Fast Teeple up on the outside, Pachetti on the inside as they battle for 4th and 5th. One more time around, Logan Schwedek starting to stretch that advantage.
Schwedek very steady on the bottom side in that number 53. Gains some ground on Steve Shaw. Look at the battle there for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Clinton Nichols, Brian Pachetti, and Go Fast Teeple as the checkers come out.
Schwedek going to take the win. Shaw, Nichols, Pachetti, and Teeple. And then as Hoskins and Ruliff rounding out the field. Greg, have I mentioned that I love Thunderstock Racing?
Not tonight, you haven't.
Best division in Ontario.
It absolutely is, and that's why I've said this multiple times. Probably one of my favorite races of the year is Apple Fest weekend and the closure of the Duel on the Dirt series, because you get this type of cross-section of different racers from around the province. And in fact, that weekend we actually get some cars from Brockville usually come down as well, and it makes for an absolutely great race. Fantastic division. We're treated with it every Friday night at Ohsweken Speedway, but all the tracks in Southern Ontario have some great Thunderstock action.
I think it helps that these cars just look to me like race cars. When I think of being a kid, and here's a perfect example, is our pole sitter, Brewster Baker.
Dave Bailey.
Rest in peace, Kenny Rogers.
Yes. Lost Kenny over the offseason. And once again, back with the Brewster Baker paint scheme is Dave Bailey, going from the pole in the Queenston Chevrolet Gibbs Action Sport number 49. Lining up on his outside, another one of our drivers coming from the west, Brian Brady out of Merlin in the Pioneer Brady Seeds. Agris car number 444. And back there in row number 2, the 42, on another one of the Western drivers, Matt Wilson, out of Chatham, Ontario, the Right Connection Cherry's Pet Grooming 42 machine. Then we got the 28 tonight. That will be Tate O'Leary, another from the west. He's from down in Wallaceburg, Ontario. And then a familiar face of this track, the Fonz, Jason Fontaine in the 1J, the Club 54 Racing. Dan Williams Electric 1J, and his outside will be Steve Shaw Sr. in car number 96 out of Merlin, and the Mike's Delivery Miller Towing Tilbury Auto Recyclers car. Back there in the 108, Zach Bleach. He is always strong in the Pita Pit of Welland at 108. And then lining up on his outside, I didn't catch the car, the outside there. We also have
the Sarge, Kenny Sargent in the back in the 25.
And the 72G of Marcel Gadet out of Windsor as well.
Oh, boy. Uh-oh. A couple of our Buxton area racers, Steve Shaw Sr. was involved in that, and our outside pole sitter got a piece of it as well. He's coming back onto the racetrack now. No yellow flag as Dave Bailey leads the way by a healthy margin over Jason Fontaine, who had a pretty good opening lap from where he started.
Tell you what, there's a good collection, a good freight train of drivers from southwestern Ontario just in this qualifying heat alone. Got a handful of them here as we complete the opening laps in the second qualifying heat. Dave Bailey out in front.
Good side-by-side battle down the back straightaway. Bleach on the inside in that 108. Kenny Sargent on the outside in the 25. Sargent started shotgun on the field, has moved his way up into the top 3. Way to go, Kenny.
Jason Fontaine in the second spot, Sargent third. And I believe it's Marcel Gadet back there in the fourth spot with Zach Bleach working his inside. Then it's Matt Wilson in the 42.
Marcel Gadet from Windsor. Kind of a pretty looking car, white wheels, a lot of white bodywork on that 72 machine. As the leader comes off of turn number 4 for the halfway point, Dave Bailey leads by a half a straightaway as we've got a spinner off of turn number 2 and a cloud of dust.
Brian Brady goes off in the 444 machine. And some smoke coming out of the 1J of Jason Fontaine riding in the second position. Stay under the green flag as Brian Brady looks like he'll be able to coast over in the pit area.
We'll have a replay of that as Brady goes off the racetrack, and then the dust just engulfs his car.
Bailey across the stripe another time over Fontaine.
What's on the window, the driver's window of Dave Bailey's car? Watch him come through turn 4. It almost looks like his hand is out the window, but I don't think it is.
That's where he always puts his GoPro, I believe. Yeah. He's had that for... And I've thought that to myself week after week on Friday night, saying, let's hang it up. Oh, yeah, that's where his GoPro is. But I'm sure he gets some... Well, actually, Dave probably gets some pretty boring GoPro shots because he's always out front.
I'll tell you what, though, after about the third week of any season, he's starting deep in the fields at the tracks he runs at. Took home 3 championships last season alone. Final time around, Steve Shaw finally has caught up to some of his competition. And he has to drop the anchor to avoid contact.
Checkers out. Dave Bailey will pick up the win. Jason Fontaine about to cross the line in the second spot. And then I believe it's Ken Sargent in third. I don't know if the 28K was on the lead lap.
You know, I didn't think the 28K was, but then again, they stayed in about that position for a long time. So we'll wait and see when the scorers give us the information a little bit later on. So for the fans who I've seen asking on the stream, Clinton Jeffrey is with us tonight. He is working, and truthfully, he has worked as hard as anybody all day long getting things ready for tonight's show, but we haven't had any work for him to do. There hasn't been much action for him to call down there on the infield, but he's here. He's going to play a big part in Operation Green Flag, and he already has, Greg.
I thought maybe he ran into town to get a haircut. I was feeling some jealousy when I saw those locks here tonight. I've never seen Clinton with so much hair. Is he going for the mullet?
I think he's going for his 20s back.
That ain't happening. Rob Disher's going from the pole in this one. The St. Catharines Towing. Gino's Pizza car number 17. No, actually, he'll line up on the outside of the front row. Down to his inside will be the 5-5. Mike Thorne in the Burger Barn. Ace 1 construction machine. And then we got Rob Disher lining up on his outside. Kyle Quinn in the 99 out of Coburg, Ontario. I know he is excited to come here tonight and get the season started. He'll be a regular down at the Brighton Speedway. And on his outside out of Guelph, Ontario, on the Draper Doors, car number 79. Stony Creek transmission also on that car. That's Chris Hale. Starting back in position number 5, another regular runner at the Brighton Speedway from Trenton, Ontario, in the Oasis Fuels Green Grass Oasis. Car number 17, that's Jeff Humphrey. And then we've got the 96T of Todd Shaw out of Chatham, Ontario, starting in 6th. Adam Plazik in the Plazik's Auto Recycler 41 out of Caister Center goes from 7th. And on the outside of him, in the 8th and final starting position out of LaSalle, Ontario, the Sterling Ridge Investments Erie Sand and Gravel 39 is Kevin Damore.
Doing a great job, Greg, with the lineups and such.
It was all that iRacing. It kept us relevant, Adam. Otherwise, you and I would have just been scurried out of use.
I just sit at home on a Friday night and talk loudly anyhow, no matter what's happening. Rob Disher closes the door on Chris Hale on the 79, but it's not going to hold him off for long. Hale to the inside of that 17 as we got a smoker down into the corner. That's a 39 machine.
Yeah, Kevin Damore having issues on that Camaro. He was still able to pass Todd Shaw, though.
How many 96 cars do we have here tonight?
At least 3.
And I think there's 1 or 2 in the modifieds as well. So, welcome to Operation Green Flag number 96.
Unfortunately, not a good night for Fred Carlton in the 96 as he had problems in hot laps. That's the reason we didn't see him in the qualifying heats. But in this one, Mike Thorne out in front. Troubles between 2 of our Southwestern drivers, Todd Shaw and Kevin Damore, as they get things straightened out up in corner number 4. They continue battling for that second spot. Chris Hale in the Draper Doors 79. Whoa, Kyle Quinn and Adam Plazik get to know each other down in corner number 4.
Plaza getting up to speed a little bit quicker than Quinn does as they get down into 1 and 2. Quinn's running different color wheels on the left side than he does the right side. Those blue wheels on the left side of the car are pretty badass.
It's Mike Thorne out in front. Chris Hale second, then it's Rob Disher and Jeff Humphrey. That's your top 4. Good distance back to Adam Plaza, who is in the 5th spot for Kyle Quinn, Todd Shaw, and Kevin DeMore.
Down through 3 and 4. Mike Thorne, to me, just looks better in a Thunderstock. Oh, boy.
Right in front of the leader, and Mike Thorne right into Todd Shaw, and that will bring out the caution flag. Well, so Doug Leonard saying that was on him, so Mike can have his spot back. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
I don't think I've ever seen that either, and he didn't even uncross his arms to say it.
Doug's gotten soft.
He threw himself under the bus. Which is good, because I'm so out of shape, I certainly couldn't throw him there anymore. I'll try.
No, back to the point you were just making for Mike Thorne. He looks so good in a Thunderstock, and he's a former champion in the division. And sprint cars, not sure what it was. He was good. Oh, yeah. It wasn't that he wasn't capable.
But there just something wasn't quite jiving. I'd like to see Mike Thorne race on asphalt. His driving style reminds me actually of Dave Bailey.
Yep.
Like someone who I just think sprint cars might not be their thing, but there is a host of other race cars that they'd be dynamite in.
And for Mike, I think towards the end in the sprint cars, I think Mike was being as hard as anyone on Mike. And once that gets in your head, that's hard to get past. And no shame in coming back and running strong in the Thunderstocks. As we've talked about, this is a fantastic division. If this is your thing, then do it.
3 wide down into turn number 1. Rob Disher sticks his nose to the inside of Chris Hale in the 79. That opens up the outside groove for another number 17, Greg.
Yep, Jeff Humphrey and Rob Disher back there, the 217s. It's Humphrey on the outside of Chris Hale going for that second spot, working the outside line. And then Rob Disher trying to tuck back inside of Chris Hale in the other 17.
Disher is tenacious on the bottom, hooking that left front right around the inside wall in the corners.
Cross flags, or was that 2 to go that time? I believe that's 2 laps left to go for Mike Thorne.
And look at that battle for second. Thorne, no rear view mirrors in a dirt car. But if there was, he'd be enjoying a hell of a battle for the second spot. Second all the way back through 5th. Chris Hale's got the spot, but Humphrey not giving up.
No, Humphrey continuing to work the outside line, and that number 17, regular at the Brighton Speedway on Saturday nights. Adam Plazik will loop it around in corner number 2, but we're coming to the checkered, so we should stay under the green.
Off at 3 and 4 for the final time. Mike Thorne in the 55 takes the win in the Burger Barn machine, and then it's Hale, Humphrey, Quinn, Disher, Shaw. You know, I can't even reply to all of the comments that are coming in, but guys, keep it up. I'm really enjoying the conversation. Shane Pierce saying, you wreck. Whether it's the race director or not, he should have been at the back. But Mike Thorne going across the scales as the winner of that qualifying heat.
Still plenty of qualifying action to come for the Thunderstocks.
Wayne Dempster, you've been around racing a long time. You watch our shows, and we love the comments. Tell me you didn't know there's no mirrors in a dirt street stock. Is there a dirt car that runs a mirror? I don't think so.
Only in iRacing. The only mirror in dirt track racing is the one in your makeup room.
Oh. You put lipstick on a pig, Greg, it's still a pig.
It had instantly, I thought of bacon when you said that one.
That's fair.
I have issues. Gort Grant is going to go from the pole. He's from Morpeth, Ontario. In the Van Romboys Trucking Johnson Brothers Sand and Gravel, car number 5G. 37J, that will be Jeff Bean in the Wally Racing car. He's out of Dunnville. Justin Ramsey, another regular down the Brighton Speedway in the ABC Taxi. Club 54 Racing number 03. He hails from Belleville, Ontario, and to his outside, another Brighton Speedway regular, the Oasis Fuels Green Grass Oasis empty tire, car number 0. That's Tyler French. And he hails out of Belleville as well. Rob Murray in the M1. He'll go from the 5th spot. To his outside will be the 601 of Jeffrey Alarmit out of St. Catharines, Ontario, the Gales Auto Aftermarket ride. Barry Beck Jr. is back there in the 01 Junior. He's from right here in Port Colborne, Countertop Service Machine. And also out there, the 2 of Matt Newell, the Miska Trailer Services Machine, and Ian Blanchard will be aboard the 31B here tonight.
Oh boy. It got busy twice out there at the front. They were 4 wide, and then everybody was mixing it up deeper in the pack. They're not done at the front of the field. Yellow is out. Yeah, they were about 4 wide going into turn number 1 that first lap, and then the second gaggle of cars made contact and went around. And Wayne, I hope you don't think I'm picking on you. I'm certainly not, because I enjoyed the back and forth. A lot of asphalt cars never did have mirrors. For example, we're going to see the Canadian Vintage Modifieds next week at Flamborough. I believe they are now allowed to run mirrors, but for most of their years, they were not. When I raced them, you couldn't run a mirror in the cars. I don't even know how much people use their mirrors these days compared to using a spotter. I think you might get better information from your spotter, but who knows? Everyone's different. For those just tuning in, welcome to Operation Green Flag Mission Humberstone Speedway. We're watching the Thunderstock qualifying heats.
Back under the green flag, Gord Grant, Jeff Bean side by side down in corner 1, and again they're going to make it 3, almost 4 wide down in the corner as Justin Ramsey gets a good run working off that inside line. He'll move to the 2nd spot, and Gord Grant ran out of room in corner number 3, collects Tyler French.
Nice job by a lot of them to avoid. And what happened, Gord Grant closed the door on Rob Murray, and Murray actually backed out of it, but not in time to avoid a little bit of contact, getting Grant sideways, pitch Grant into the Jersey barrier, and then once you hit those, it spits you right up the racetrack. James Potter wants to know, is there any way to support them? I don't know if you're talking about GForceTV. You can see this as well on Rev TV, but just like it, share it, enjoy it. We're all race fans here, and we work together to put this presentation on, so we're thrilled that you're here to watch it. Can't wait until we can join everybody at the racetracks and fill the grandstands and enjoy the sport that we love. But for now, I think this is a pretty good way to take it in, Greg.
Absolutely. We're bringing you some exciting action in a time where it looked like we weren't going to have any at all, and we're going to continue to do that for the next few weeks.
At this point in my life, getting no action seems normal, Greg.
I've missed you.
Oh, it's been a while since I've been able to knock you off your game.
Sounds like you are. Green is out. Justin Ramsey working the top side in corner 1, gets a better launch this time and will clear Bean and Murray. And then again, some tight action in behind them.
Yeah, Ian Blanchard was trying to work the outside. He got up off the edge of the racetrack and just had to tiptoe through turn number 2. He's back in that 4th spot. Murray has taken up the 2nd position. He'll try to close in on Ramsey. Pretty nice drive being made right now by Bean in that 37 machine, Greg.
Already chunks of race car being blown up.
You saw that too.
Stretches. Some contact was made toward the back of the pack. Justin Ramsey, Rob Murray, Jeff Bean, top 3. Ian Blanchard holding on to that 4th spot.
Tyler French has a nice looking race car, that Zero machine.
Always has well-prepared race cars. The French family do it right.
He was good in a mini stock.
Oh, yeah. He was untouchable for many years at Brighton Speedway in the mini stock division.
Right now, he's trying to make a move on that 4th position. Ian Blanchard just can't keep the car down the track as we got one around there in turn number 2.
Gary back. He'll get that straightened up. We'll stay under the green. Cross flags out.
Larment around in 3 and 4 as well. Need your head on a swivel at this place. French makes the pass on Ian Blanchard for that 4th position. Now we'll try to track down Bean in the 37 machine.
It is Ian Blanchard in the 31B tonight. Viewers asking who is aboard that 31B. He's riding back there in position number 5. Meanwhile, out in front, Justin Ramsey. Hooked up and gone, and no surprise, he has been so good in this Thunderstock division.
Yeah, he's one of the perennial hot shoes. So is Rob Murray in that 2nd spot. But it's always fun to see some new people like Tyler French. I'm not used to watching Tyler making lots of passes and being aggressive in a Thunderstock. I've seen him in a mini stock do it. I haven't been as familiar watching him do it in a Thunderstock, so that's been fun. Young Ian Blanchard in the 31, Jeremy Bean in the 37.
Couple of laps left to go as the white flag comes out this time by for Justin Ramsey. Set sail down into corner number 1 over Rob Murray. Tyler French. Now the battles between Jeff Bean and Ian Blanchard for the 4th position.
And it is a great battle indeed, down through 3 and 4 for the final time. Ramsey is going to collect the win. Murray is going to come home 2nd, French in 3rd. Here's the battle for 4th. Blanchard on the inside, but Bean gets the power down. He'll take that position.
So qualifying concludes for the Thunderstock division. Heats are completed as well for the modifieds here at Humberstone Speedway as part of Operation Green Flag.
Little bit of track work going to be done right now, and hopefully we can connect with our Clinton Jeffrey, who has been trackside, but I don't know how the communication is right now between the two groups. So we will try to get some reports from down pit side if we can. Clinton Jeffrey is working on getting a driver right now. So we're doing this old school, Greg, the way the communication goes, hand signals back and forth, and we'll get it right. Thanks so much. We get the redraw cars for the Thunderstocks. There will be 12 drivers. So the top 4 finishers of each of 3 heats, or were there 4 heats of them, Greg? Either way, top 12 in the Thunders, top 9 in the Modifieds. B main going to be run for the Thunderstocks. It'll be 15 laps in distance, and we'll have to find out how many they're going to start in that one. We can see Clinton Jeffrey's wheels, his vehicle, working down through the pit area.
So hopefully we can catch up with him and get a word with some of the drivers.
You know, one of the things in racing I dislike the most, Greg, is watching a hauler pull out of the pits in the middle of a program. Freddie Carlton in the 96 machine put out plumes of smoke in practice earlier on, and there goes his truck and trailer out towards turn number 2, heading towards the exit. You never want to see that. Freddie is one of the, his heart is in racing.
Yeah, he was excited to be here tonight, as is everyone, but that Tim Hortons machine was looking to be stout here at Humberstone tonight, and not the drive that he wants to get home here this evening. So Fred Carlton headed out of the facility.
We can see Clinton Jeffrey getting set up with somebody down there trackside. And we can see it from our position in the tower. The camera's not on it just yet, but if we get one of our cameras to get up there, I know he's got one with him down in turn number 2, but let's hear from Clinton Jeffrey. Clinton, go ahead.
Well, guys, we're standing by in the pit area during intermission here with the guy who took the first checkered flag of the year here at Humberstone, Mike Bowman. Mike, you've got a lot of history here in both sportsman and 358s. How do you feel about being back at the track tonight?
I was excited just to get in the truck and go to the shop because I knew we were finally going racing, and it's great to be back. And kudos to New Humberstone Speedway for thinking outside the box and pulling out all the stops and getting this event off the ground.
Humberstone's traditionally had a challenging track, especially with the modifieds out there. They're doing track work right now to add some more moisture. Mike, does that help your game, or does that make you nervous?
There's 2 segments. We're going to have some choices whether we can adjust the car or sit in the lockdown lineup. I think as long as we pay attention to what's going on, we'll be fine.
Now, how about strategy? Have you talked it over with the team yet to figure out what you might do or what you might not do in this lockdown quarantine segment?
We're going to just pay attention to what the other teams do and then kind of make the call on the fly.
All right, there you have it. Mike Bowman, one of the better guys here at Humberstone. Watch for him tonight to get it done here in the 358s.
Mike Bowman's been at it for quite a while, and he's a driver who just doesn't get worked up. It doesn't matter who he's racing against. He doesn't worry about that. He doesn't get too big leagued out there as Greg's scrambling for a writing utensil, and I don't have one of those. I've got crayons if you want to borrow from my set, Greg. That's always available to you. But Mike Bowman in the Seaway Fluid Power number 71, he is one of the favorites here tonight to take home the win. We talk a lot about Matt Williamson, and he deserves all the chatter he gets, but Mike Bowman is a capable driver as well. That's going to be a fun race to watch. Again, it is a 50-lap modified race. The lockdown showdown means at lap 25, they're going to throw the yellow flag. Drivers will then be led to the pits. The driver can choose to lock down their car, meaning they go straight to line up for the second half of the race, or they can choose to stop into their pit area, let the crews do whatever they want with the time they have, but they give up that running position and they will have to fall in behind all the cars that did not pit. Looks like Clinton Jeffrey has somebody else back there off of turn number 2. Not sure if we're about to get an interview with them, but I believe that we are. Clinton, who do you have with you now?
Well, we're here with Matt Williamson, another guy who did pretty good. Matt, you won your qualifying heat race tonight. What's your thoughts about being at Humberstone tonight and the track they're going to present for you this evening?
It looks like they're doing some work on it now, so I think it'll be pretty racy. Excited to be back here. Hats off to Dave, Jack, Zach, all the guys here. They put together an amazing race and gets us all back to some normalcy. It's pretty cool to see.
We talked to Mike Bowman. He said him and his team have talked about strategy. Have you talked about strategy with your team and what you might do here tonight?
Yeah, you always have to think ahead. We've thought about where we're going to be. If we're fifth on back, we think we'll probably pit and try some things. We're here to win. It's not a points race, so if we're not in a position to win, I think at lap 25 you're going to see some work on the 6th car, and we'll use it as a test session, see if we can put a show on for the fans.
Now let's quickly talk about last season. Probably the winningest driver here in the Northeast when it comes to these modified cars. Won the $100,000 US race. Won Super Dirt Week. Won the title. You had a really good money year across the border. How painful is it for you to be stuck here in Canada? Not stuck here, but a lot of your money is over there.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, there hasn't been many big races, no points races, and nothing we've really missed yet. So I've been fortunate with that. There's a race on Tuesday night, and we hope to be at, and we've been working hard with lawyers and trying to get everything figured out with visas, and things are coming together, so we should be back in the States racing soon.
Good luck here tonight, Matt.
Thank you.
There's Matt Williamson, one of the standouts and one of the favorites here tonight at the Lockdown Showdown, guys.
Thanks so much, Clinton Jeffrey, down there with Matt Williamson. I'm going to take the rare opportunity, because he actually walked over here when I beckoned him, but race director Doug Leonard. Doug, we've gone through a lot of things over the years. We've seen a lot of things. I've never seen you call an accident and say, that one's on me. in the incident with Mike Thorne, where there was a car spun in turn number 2. Mike tried to get woed up but couldn't, and you kind of owned that and said, Mike, you get your spot back. Explain that a little bit. It's not something I've ever seen from you.
Okay, just like racers, I'm rusty too. It's my first one all year. No, I mean, you try to give the benefit to the doubt to the driver. I mean, it was a back marker, unfortunately, and he spun. You're thinking it's clear and it's a judgment call. Unfortunately, I was slow on the one-way radio. Mike tried every attempt to avoid it, so I owned that one and gave him his spot back.
I like the call, Doug. Doug, it's been a long off season. You're cleanly shaven. I mean, you've really tidied yourself up, because at one point you went on camera with us and it looked like number 2 had been given to you all the way around your head with a set of clippers.
Yeah, actually this got trimmed up today in the shower. Haircut got done actually at my mom's cottage on the May 24 weekend, sitting on the deck overlooking the water, and I let the family go to town on me. So came out pretty good.
You know, you're another one. A lot of us are race fans all around, so we'll go to an asphalt track. I know you spent a lot of time at Cayuga Speedway growing up, so did I. How much fun is this Operation Green Flag, going from Humberstone this week, Flamborough Speedway next week, which is a bull ring of an asphalt track, back to Merrittville the following week? To me, it's almost like a dream month of places that I just enjoyed going on my way through motorsports, and I still enjoy going.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's really the only option we have here right now in Southern Ontario. What else can we do? But, I mean, the good part about it with you guys putting on this broadcast, it gives the dirt fans the opportunity, the asphalt fans the opportunity. So when we get back to hopefully normal life, we might have some fans that were strictly asphalt fans come to the dirt side and dirt fans to the asphalt side.
Yeah, and it's not you guys, it's us. It's
Right.
us. It's so many people that have come together. Dave Bittner, again, credit to Dave for taking the chance to put this show on, and then a lot of things falling into place for us to be able to present it to the fans. So I'll let you get back to your officiating. I know Greg's been working on redoing doing the redraws electronically tonight. Are you able to explain that? Is that a system you're familiar with, Doug?
It's not. I mean, it's a new little thing that you guys came up with. I think it's great. I mean, practicing the social distancing. How much the driver's going to like it, because it's an electronic thing. They always like to do it. But because we got to practice that social distancing and not have people touch the pills, this is the easiest way to do it.
There you have it. Doug Leonard, enjoy the rest of your night. Thanks for chatting with us.
Thanks, guys. Have fun.
Doug Leonard, the race director for Operation Green Flag, as Greg Callan, I believe, has completed what he needed to do for the redraws. As we look at this speed shot, folks, what an amazing view of the front straightaway here at Humberstone Speedway. Again, the walls have been painted. The place looks great. It's a little bit weird that there are no fans in the stands. I'm not going to lie. Like, actually seeing competitive racing, I've been to a lot of practice days that had a lot of race cars in the pits and nobody in the stands, but never have I seen an event quite like this where there's competitive racing going on the racetrack. It reminds me of old go-kart racing type days. We used to race down at Shannonville, down between Kingston and Belleville, and there were big grandstands there, and of course nobody sitting in them because it was go-kart racing and it wasn't really promoted as a spectator sport. Reminds me a little bit of that. But you can see the cars on the racetrack. They put some water to the surface. They continue to put some water to the surface and run vehicles around to pack the groove in. We're going to have a 15-lap Thunderstock B main, and we understand Clinton may have found another interview down in the pits. I lost track of him while I was doing my lengthy monologue there, but Clinton Jeffrey is with us once again. Not sure who's joining him. Well, let's throw it.
Thanks, Adam. I got Dave Bailey here, the three-time and defending champion here at Humberstone Speedway. Dave, you said the track's a little bit different. They put a lot of new clay down, trying to make it more racy, but you're struggling here tonight. You still won your heat, but you're not feeling too confident right now.
No, it feels like it's got no grip. I don't know, I wasn't happy with how the car felt, but we were fast, so I guess that's really all that matters.
Now, you're a guy who races 3 nights a week mostly, won championships all over the place. How excited is it for you to finally get out of the garage and get back to where you do so well?
Yeah, it's awesome to be back out, and I really got to thank these guys for doing it. There's only so much stuff in my garage I can weld on and put together and build stuff, and it's time. Let's go.
There you have it. Watch for Dave Bailey. He's the defending champion here at Humberstone. He'll be sure to fast tonight, guys.
If there was an award for quality interviews done with people who don't enjoy being interviewed. Dave Bailey always says he doesn't like speaking in front of a crowd, but he's often gives the best answers of anybody. Just keeps it real. A perennial front runner in the Thunderstock division, and he'll be a favorite to win this one tonight. He's going to start somewhere between 1st and 12th. We don't yet know where. The draw is going on. So folks who are watching along, we've had some phenomenal comments. Let's start to see some of your favorites. I want to see who you think is going to win tonight's races. 25 laps for the Thunderstocks, 50 laps for the Modifieds, and I want to see who you think has the best looking race cars out here. We have seen some gorgeous equipment on the racetrack here tonight. Hopefully it stays gorgeous after the 75 laps of feature racing in the Lockdown Showdown, Operation Green Flag, Humberstone Speedway. One of the other things we are going to find during this series of races, and of course Humberstone, the first one, Humberstone is traditionally a Sunday night racetrack. Of course, for this special event, they've come to race on Saturday night. 2 weeks from now, we'll be just down the road at Merrittville Speedway, where Saturday night is their traditional night of racing, and that's where we're going to present from. As we look at these Thunderstock drivers waiting their turn to get onto the racetrack to compete in their B main event. Brittany, how many transfer in the Thunderstock B main? 4. How many are in it? A lot. Officially, a lot are in. 16 cars scheduled to take the green flag in the Thunderstock B main. Only the top 4 going to get in. I'll tell you, Steve Shaw, Matt Newell, we're just getting a couple of images here, and they are top runners. So it is going to be a tough one for sure. It'll be a hotly contested affair. And 15 laps is a pretty healthy distance for that B main. So they put the water to the racetrack, and then they bring out as many vehicles as they can to help work it into the clay surface. This is some fresh clay that's been put out at Humberstone Speedway over the off season. I got to say, it's really taken quite well. You never know what you're going to get when you mix old clay with new clay, try to create a new surface, but they've done a pretty good job here, so hats off to Dave Bittner and his crew. Got one for the Fawns to win. Kenny Sargent has a fan out there. Barry Beck Jr. with the best appearing. Got some Dave Bailey fans. Of course, Brewster Bailey and Dave Bailey are one and the same. Wait a second, that's no fair. It's Brewster Baker or Dave Bailey. Don't screw me up with Brewster Bailey. The most exciting race in all of motorsports is the B main. Call it a B main, call it a Consi, call it a hooligans race. Nothing is better. Francesca, thanks so much for the note. Always great to see the Spiteri family tuning in. We appreciate the support. But the Consi, the B main is a race, and anymore a lot of divisions don't need it. A lot of racetracks don't need it because generally they don't draw as many cars as they're able to qualify, which is fine. That's just the way it's been in recent years. But there are some tracks and some divisions and some events where the heat races matter. And if you don't get into that top 3 or 4 spots in your heat to qualify into the feature event, you've got to run this Consi. And you lose, you're out. You're outside of the top 4, your night is done, and you have to go home before the feature hits the racetrack. And boy, oh boy, the pressure is on. People have to perform. It's my favorite race of any race night. I apologize, folks, that I'm talking so much, but Clinton Jeffrey's back chasing down interviews, and Greg Callan is productively working this electronic redraw because technology makes everything easier, doesn't it, Greg? Technology is the answer.
Oh, I wish that were the case.
That's all right. How did it go?
I couldn't even tell you. I just spun the wheel. Doug wrote it all down. Doug's got the But, yeah, we've set the lineup, top 12 for the Thunderstocks and top 9 for the Modifieds tonight. Dalton Slack is on the pole for the Modifieds. But, of course, we've got the Lockdown Showdown tonight where there'll be 25 laps and then a break. And the drivers that decide to go in and work on their cars, they'll go to the back end of the lead lap cars when the race resumes. And those that decide, well, I'm going to stay out for the last 25 laps and hold my position, they can decide to do that as well. So it's going to be a little strategy in play here tonight. And we'll see how that goes, because for the Modifieds, no other racing before the feature and a little bit of water and some track prep being done here. So it could change some things for a few drivers.
It could for sure, and I would imagine there are plenty of modified racers saying, you guys take your time. If that sun happens to set over the horizon before we get back on the track and we don't have to deal with it in turns 3 and 4, that would suit them fine. But I have a feeling the sun's still going to be a factor.
Yeah, it's still fair ways up there, and that's what we'd like to see, though. We don't want to get into these early evenings just too soon. Clinton Jeffrey with Dalton Slack, I believe it is. Send over to Clinton Jeffrey pit side with Dalton Slack.
Kenny, great to be back at the track. You've been here a long time. As long as I've been hanging around here, you've been running good here. How's it feel to be back at Humberstone tonight?
You know what? It's fantastic. First race of the year, and everybody's doing what they got to do. Everybody's being safe. We're having fun, and we're here to put on a good show.
Now, last year in our broadcast races, you did very well when the cameras were on. How do you feel about the new surface they've got going on here tonight at Humberstone?
The track is amazing. It is just a little shorter version of Oshwegan to me. It's smooth, it's fast, not as wide as Oshwegan, but we can still get around it.
All right, good luck tonight, Kenny.
Thank you.
Ken Sargent, one of the better guys here tonight to watch in the Thunderstocks. He'll be moving that 25 up through the ranks, guys, for sure.
Wasn't that always the way? The message said it was Dalton Sargent, so I took a guess and said it was going to be Dalton Slack, but obviously that was Ken Sargent with Clinton down there.
That's okay. I'm not the only one who gets to be wrong, so that's quite all right. You know, I got my first bit of I don't want to call it hate mail, but I got a little bit of heat thrown at me, Greg. Do you know where it came from?
Well, it's probably not your wife, because I doubt she's tuning in to listen to you
It's
right now.
a different Angie.
Oh!
You know where
That
Belleville
Angie?
is. You know where Belleville is, but you can't figure out where Brighton is. I know exactly where Brighton is. It's 2 hours farther than I want to go. I love Angie Rinaldi and their racetrack. I mentioned it once, and I think it was 15 years ago. Boy, it takes a long time to get to Brighton, and she hasn't let me forget it since. We got a question from Jonathan. How valuable do you believe track position is at Humberstone? It's looking pretty racy so far, but there's nothing like being up front. I have a different opinion on it. I think track position is important. I don't necessarily want to be the leader. It's the first race of the year. I'm not saying people are rusty, but I'm saying you've got to search around on the racetrack a little bit to find that perfect line. And sometimes you're better to be in second spot, Greg, or third spot. See what they're doing in front of you to figure something out. So I think track position helps, but I don't think you need to be leading the race. I mean, I'd rather start in the front couple of rows than I would 15th or 16th. But no, the faster cars are going to get to the front.
And in a race like this with some distance to it, and that strategy where you might go in or you might not, sometimes it's better to be not that lead car trying to set the pace, but rather kind of saving your car so you have more options when that break comes in, that maybe you've conserved a little bit on that car while keeping the leaders in sight.
I'm going to use Mike Bowman because he's a real cerebral racer. He thinks a lot. If I'm in second and I know I could take the lead, in the first half of the race, I might just stay back there, let the leader think he's got the fastest car, go into that lockdown knowing that you've got something for them and maybe giving them a false sense of confidence. There is a lot of mind games that goes on in motorsports. Don't think that there isn't. These guys are always thinking of a way to screw the others.
Clinton Jeffrey standing by with Justin Ramsey.
Thanks, guys. We're here with Justin Ramsey. Justin, you come up from Brighton. You know, a long drive for you, but on a Saturday tonight instead of the regular Sunday. What brings you to Humberstone this evening?
Well, racing, because there's not much going on in Ontario, so we did some practice last weekend and a couple weeks before that and just worked some bugs out of the car, and we were coming up here for this.
So you've had some great runs here at Humberstone in the past. Is it a place you feel comfortable?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite tracks to come to. It's real tight and fun and technical, and I really like it.
Now, we've heard a lot of guys talk. Even Dave Bailey mentioned he's struggling a bit with the surface. It is different. Do you find it different?
Yeah, normally you can kind of throw the car in, but now it's a lot looser, but it's more what I'm used to. Brighton's kind of like that.
All right, we'll watch for Justin Ramsey tonight, guys. A Brighton standout looking to get it done here at Humberstone this evening.
So the B main getting set for the Thunderstocks, but it looks like they'll do a little bit of track packing here with the water that was put down on the high side. So be a few moments before we get to the start of this last chance qualifier for the Thunderstock division. Thank you to everyone tuned in here this evening. Hope you're enjoying Operation Green Flag, getting this 2020 season kicked off in Southern Ontario at the very least. Cornwall Motor Speedway has already conducted a fanless race last weekend. And it looks like we're going to send it back over to Clayton Jeffrey with a surprise guest.
Thanks, guys. Once again, we got the Fonz here, Jason Fontaine. Jay, your car's in pieces and the crew are crawling all over it. What's the story here with the one?
Well, it was literally in the driveway all winter. Corey Sawyer's driving this car this year. We have a new car. Still got a couple things stuck in the States, so we decided to pull this out. We got a little bit of tranny fluid leaking, but we'll have her fixed up.
Now, you've been racing these type of cars here at Humberstone for a long time, as well as a lot of the other guys we talked. The story tonight has been the track's changed. Do you find it different?
Definitely. You can go in a lot harder now, and there's no cushion on the top where you can just go in and gas her. They did a great job over the off season, and I think it's just going to be that much better.
So the transmission issue here, is it something you guys got cured or something that's still going to bleed all night on you?
Oh no, we got a little vent line coming up top here. If anything, it ain't going to bleed on the exhaust, maybe out the track a little bit, but that's it.
All right, another multi-time champion here at Humberstone, Jason Fontaine, going to try and get it done here in the Lockdown Showdown, guys.
Clinton Jeffrey doing a great job tonight. Folks, if you're enjoying this, give us another chance next Saturday, 2 o'clock p.m. It'll be a matinee show at Flamborough Speedway for late models and Canadian vintage modifieds, where they are going to race for the biggest purse they have ever competed for, $1,000 to win for the Canadian vintage modifieds, $2,000 to win for the late models. It's going to be an awful lot of fun. In the meantime, we've got some action to get to tonight as we look out on the speedway. 16 drivers contending for 4 qualified spots. There's some good ones out there too, Greg.
Yeah, not one of these drivers came here and waited 9 months to compete to go home early. So it's going to get busy, and it's going to get busy really fast here in this B main for the Thunderstock division. And we've already seen some good close racing action in the heats. Well, that's going to ratchet up even more. We see a great shot on board with Clinton Jeffrey down trackside. Dave Stiers holding the camera, giving you a great look at that racing surface.
I'm all for safety, but if he fell out of that car, I would want him to be okay, but it would be spectacular as it was happening. Rob Flindle, thanks so much for the kind words. It's great to be back on the mic.
All right, guys, well, as we go down the back straight, we can see the sun is a huge problem for these drivers. As they get into turn 3, it almost blinds you. Then when you get through the apex and start working back this way, It's a total change in the way you see the track and the lighting. Track's coming in beautiful. We'll take you for another lap. Nice and easy on the eyes as you head down here to turn number 1. But when we get back to turn 2, you'll see just how difficult it is to see as soon as you get on the straightaway. Now they're doing a final few laps here of prepping the track to get it in. But as we come around the apex of 1 and 2, it starts to lighten up in your face. And when you get to about the midpoint of the back straightaway, all you can see is sunlight right in your face as you come down the stretch. Tough sights here at Humberstone, guys.
Sorry, folks, if we were talking over top of Clinton there. We have some audio issues being able to communicate back and forth.
I feel bad for Clint because he put in so much effort to put all this together, and at the end he tried 3 different microphones for himself, and none of them would work with the system, and enough that we could get the feed back to us.
So what we do, Greg, it works, right? And sometimes we talk over each other a little bit, but for the most part we have a good flow because we can hear each other. We can tend to follow each other around the track, so you just know whose turn it is. Tonight we're in a different place. You know, it's just foreign to us, some foreign equipment. So, yeah, a little couple of issues like that, and we apologize. We know it's really annoying to listen to.
It is still better than trying to announce the iRacing because I felt like we were talking over each other. It was just hard to read.
It's so awkward.
Oh, it's so hard. But we still had fun with it. That was the main thing. But we'll get the kinks worked out, and as you mentioned, we'll be back at it at Flamborough Speedway next Saturday. I'm looking forward to that one. That is a track that produces phenomenal finishes, great racing throughout, but there's always so many phenomenal and memorable finishes at Flamborough Speedway.
It's like dancing with your sister at the prom. You don't brag about it, but you're still dancing at the prom. It's one of those places where Flamborough has never been a real prestigious track, but let's remember it was a place where Junior Hanley and Don Biederman got famous. You know, they had some great battles at Cayuga Speedway, but they also did it at Flamborough Speedway. It's the kind of racetrack that if you can drive through a field and win at that racetrack, you can win just about anywhere, Greg.
It's going to be a great one. 2 o'clock start time next Saturday afternoon. Pro Late models and the Canadian Vintage Modifieds. Going to be a great afternoon of racing, and then in 2 weeks' time we'll be down at the Merrittville Speedway. And that will be Sportsman Mini Stocks and the Action Sprint Tour to get their first race of the season underway. Again, all of these events without fans. No fans allowed in attendance, but we'll bring it to you free and live here on GForceTV.net, and also rebroadcast on Rev TV.
So what does this mean? Adam, just tell Greg that Mo Lilgy says hi.
That's Dave Buchanan, who's spent many a nights in this tower announcing. And over the last couple of years, we've announced together the ISMA and the ROC modified race at Jukasa Motor Speedway. And Dave, every time he hears the name Mo Lilgy, he'll sing the O'Reilly Auto Parts song. Mo, 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 Mo Lilgy. So now every time I hear that song, I've got to text Dave and say, thanks, man. Thanks for sticking that. It's one of those things that just won't come out of your head. I love working with Dave. He is a lot of fun to work with. And also want to mention Stephen Petty, who
Yes.
wish he could be here tonight, but not able to cross the border, of course, with the situation. He is the track announcer here on a regular night at Humberstone Speedway.
I remember when we were young. Clinton, myself, you, Dave Buchanan was just a kid doing the job. You know, we were all working our way, trying to do a good job. We got old in a hurry. I don't know when that happened, but holy moly.
It's gone fast. Been here many a night, but I don't know if we've done a regular show here.
Clinton's in the pit. He just said so loudly over the radio he's ready for an interview. I couldn't make out who he was with, but Clinton Jeffrey is ready pit side. Greg, do you want to tell us who he's with? Because I want you to be wrong again.
It's blah, blah, blah. It's Clinton Jeffrey.
Well, guys, we're standing here with Dave Bittner. Dave, are you happy with how the night's gone so far?
Yeah, it was relatively smooth all the way up until this last little bit of water. It just won't go away this second. So usually we put a little bit of water on like this and it just dumbs down the little bit of dust that we had, because it's the outside of the racetrack. It wasn't necessarily the racetrack. So yeah, so we're just getting these guys to help us out a little bit, which makes the show go by a little bit quicker. So thanks for everybody for being patient. But yeah, we're like, I would say 2 laps away from going green.
All right, Dave, we'll let you get back to work. Guys, you can't see it because he's got the mask on, but you can't pry the smile off Dave Bittner's face tonight. He's so happy we're back here racing at Humberstone.
We got a question from Austin. Where is Flamborough? Flamborough is as close to population as any racetrack in all of Canada. If you leave the heart of Hamilton, Ontario and drive 15 minutes here at Flamborough Speedway, just outside of Hamilton, 3rd mile racetrack, tough, skinny joint, produces some good racing.
You talk about tracks with atmosphere. Flamborough Speedway has that. It has, I guess, actually the word I'm looking for is character. It's a character track. It's not one that you go to and say, oh, this is a nice facility, but, you know, nothing really is memorable. You go to Flamborough and you remember it, and you'll enjoy it. We're going to bring that to you up close and personal next Saturday as we're ready to go with the B main for the Thunderstock division with Rob Hoskins going from the pole. Alongside of him will be Steve Shaw Sr., and this is it. 4 spots are on the line. The rest are done for the night.
Steve Shaw Sr. has been around long enough. He just wants to get out front and get the heck away.
Being told now 6 will transfer to this, so a couple of more drivers will make it into the A main here tonight, and we've got 6 right now, kind of separated from the rest, and now, one off the corner in 3.
Matt Newell just gave away his ticket to the dance. He was up there in the top 6. Got himself turned around in 3 and 4. Wow, just took out a tractor tire coming back onto the racetrack. This is a long race, though. I don't think Newell needs to panic just yet. If he gets a yellow, it's quite possible. Todd Shaw with a problem between 3 and 4 goes straight up the racetrack.
And overcooked the corner. And down and out Rob Hoskins, who was up in the thick of it. He has problems off of corner 4, and the pack goes by him. Barry Beck Jr. shoots by into the 2nd spot. As now Jeffrey Larmont goes around to corner number 2. All sorts of things happening around this track.
Yeah, it's everywhere. The action is all over the place. Just got to keep turning your head to find it. Casey Huffman had problems off the start in that yellow number 13. He's actually starting to work his way back through a little bit as we've got one off the end of turn number 1 parked out there.
Matt Wilson in the 42. He was within the top 6, and he drove off the track up there in corner number 1. Not sure if the caution will come out for that or not, but we stay under the green flag for the moment with Steve Shaw Sr. in the lead, Barry Beck Jr., and now the caution flag will come out. So it's Shaw, Beck, Steve Shaw, Barry Beck, Todd Shaw, Adam Plazik, Gord Grant, and Jeff Roloff's top 6. Clinton?
Guys, we're here in the pits with James Michael Friesen. JMF, you've had some good runs here in the past, but kind of bringing a knife to a gunfight. You're underpowered tonight, but as the track slicks off, do you think you're going to have a shot with these guys?
You know, if we get the car working, you know, to its fullest potential, you know, after 50 laps, I like to be optimistic. I'll give it a shot and hope for the best. At the start of the race, you know, it might be tough with, you know, some of the faster guys up front just trying to stay on the lead lap. But, you know what, we'll give it a shot. It's a 50-lap race long. Lots can happen, so we'll go for it and try.
All right, we'll let you get back to putting Terrace on your helmet. Good luck here tonight, Jamie.
Thanks, Clint.
James Michael Friesen, one of the upcoming guys here, going to try and get it done from the sportsman ranks with the modifieds tonight.
So they're working on the lineup still in this B main event. Adam Plazik quietly up there in the 4th spot. It seems to me Barry Beck Jr. in the 0-1 started a little deeper in the field than the second spot he's running in right now, Greg, is we're going to have a look at a replay as Matt Newell in turn number 3 goes off the racetrack in 3 and 4. We've said it before over the years, but let's say it again tonight. What a great team we've got with Sean Robertson, Dave Stiers, Greg Boydell. Our team of camera people, I would put them up against damn near anybody, Greg. They get great shots, always present the action well, and of course Spencer in the booth making everything happen.
Here with the end of tonight and try and bring you the best action we can. Look at that up close shot from down there behind the pack, coming to the green flag here in the B main. As Steve Shaw Sr. and Barry Beck door to door for the top spot. Again, 6 will transfer, and that 6th spot, nobody wants it. Every time they have it, they end up off the track, as now the 444. Brian Brady dropped back.
Rob Hoskins went up the middle to take that spot. He had troubles earlier on and troubles again down the front straightaway. That car just keeps coming up lane for the 37 of Hoskins. Synchronized spin, Todd Shaw was one of them in the 96.
Grant involved there in the 5G. And everyone gets it back going, so we'll stay under the green flag. Barry Beck, Steve Shaw, Adam Plazik, Casey Huffman, who had problems early, is back up into the 4th spot. And as Jeff Roloff's back there in the 5th position, and Brian Brady, after all of that's back into 6th again.
Brady holding on to that important position. And as you watch through the field, Barry Beck's got a nice handling race car. Steve Shaw and Adam Plazik, they're holding a fairly pretty steering wheel. Behind them, they are very unpredictable lines being run. I mean, Casey Huffman, he always seems to be battling that race car just a little bit. Now we've got a problem with Jeff Rulofs up there in the corner between 3 and 4 as he rolls to a stop.
Across the halfway point in this one, and Roloffs will bring it back down the bank, and you wonder if he doesn't have a flat or something that he feels he can get fixed in the pit area, and tried to get the caution flag. Have a look. Well, he's not headed to the pit area, but nonetheless, Jeff Roloffs, who was up in a transfer spot. Nice looking car this year.
And I suppose, well, let's have a look at a replay here of the action in 1 and 2 on that last restart. Everyone did a nice job of getting out of the way. But that's what puts you into these B mains and consies as Casey Huffman down into the pits. Your car is a little bit off. Things aren't quite right. So watching some of the lines these drivers are running, I mean, they are working these race cars trying to get themselves into the show.
Sometimes you don't get a B main like this, but other than the top 3, I'd like to see how many times the top 6 drivers have changed, especially from 4th, 5th, and 6th. The different drivers that have been in there and dropped back or had issues and now find themselves back up there. Brian Brady was one of them.
Doug Leonard doesn't miss much. Adam Plazik just tried some gamesmanship. He wanted the outside, so he took the outside, but he's running in 3rd. The leader has lane choice. That does not affect rows 2 on back. So the leader can choose inside or outside. That's their prerogative. But the rest of the field does not follow suit. Follow what I'm saying?
Yep. Brian Brady had to make that very clear to him up in corner 1. Pulled up alongside and had him pulled down low. Didn't look like he was going to heed to that. Green flag is out halfway through this B main, looking for 6 more cars to get into the big dance tonight.
And even then on the front straightaway, there was a gap between 5th and 6th. The top 5 drove away, and then 6th. Now that's just that gaggle of race cars right now being led by Matt Newell. But here goes Larment to the inside in the 601.
Casey Huffman rejoins the field now. And back under the caution flag where Grant was around up in corner 1.
Can Colin hear us, do you think? I don't know if he can or not.
I don't think so.
I would like him to put the camera on the inside wall there in 3 and 4 for the first lap of a race. We used to do that at Syracuse at the New York State Fairgrounds, and man, oh man.
You can just feel the build-up?
Oh, the speed. And you're in a safe spot. There is no safe spot on a racetrack, but you're not in a spot that's easily compromised, so you can just stand there and be confident the car's not going to go through you. It's really good speed.
Try it again, back to the green flag. B-main for the Thunderstocks. See them getting set. In corner number 4, sun setting here at the New Humberstone Speedway in Port Colborne, Ontario, Canada. Greg Kelman along with Adam Ross, and down trackside Clinton Jeffrey as we're back into the green flag. Barry Beck Jr. leads the way, top 6. Check into the A-main.
Look at Casey Huffman. He had thoughts of going up the middle there down the back straightaway. Matt Newell was a little bit slow again. He was in a transfer spot and then fell out of that transfer spot.
Beck, the biggest advantage we've seen yet in this B-main. Good battle for the second spot. Steve Shaw and Adam Plaza right there. Just the tail. Brian Brady tucked right in behind them. And again, the beat in the bag and continues on for those final few transfer positions.
Most of the beating is outside of transfer spots. They're just hanging on for dear life and keeping the foot to the floor. It is a great battle to watch back there.
Off the corner comes Barry Beck. Mid-pack, though, is where we are watching. Contact there. Jeffrey Larmont gets tagged by the 28 machine. Both continue on, and then, oh, Shaw gets up into the 28, sends him off. That's Tate O'Leary in the 28K, and he's up in a plume of dust off of corner number 2.
So let's count out the 6 spots again. Barry Beck, Steve Shaw, Adam Plazik, we're under yellow. And we had a comment, didn't see Bicknell out tonight. And another comment that Pete never comes to Humberstone, but he is the winningest driver in history at Humberstone Speedway. I'm a little bit surprised he didn't come out for this, Greg, but race car is an expensive toy, and it's your prerogative if you want to go out and play or you don't. So we see Larmont getting hit hard in the left rear.
Job to hang on to it. And then Todd Shaw
did not
collects
hang.
Tate O'Leary. Matt Wilson, some of these Southwestern Ontario drivers, and then the stuff. That's what you were calling it last year, right? A stuff caution.
Yeah, stuff on the track. You can be more specific, but it's unnecessary. Todd Shaw's parked there out of turn number 4, I believe. I don't know if he needs a little bit of help getting up to speed.
It's Barry Beck Jr., Steve Shaw, Adam Plazik, Brian Brady, Casey Huffman, and Jeff Roloffs back up into the top 6. Those would be the transfer cars right now. And the guy that had the first problem in this B main, Matt Newell, is back to 7th, so he's right there.
I think 7th is good for Matt Newell. Every time he gets to 6th, he has a problem. So maybe if he starts 7th here, he can sneak up on it. Window net down on the 96T of Todd Shaw, so that's often a sign that the race is over for that driver.
Oftentimes you have problems in a B main. That one problem that's it. That did you in. That has not been the case in this one, as we are whittled down now to just 10 cars left in the B main. Top 6 to transfer. Back to the green flag. Barry Beck, Steve Shaw, Brian Brady head down into corner 1.
Beck with a good restart, opens up that 4-car length, 5-car length advantage down the back straightaway, and again, 4th or 5th, 6th, and 7th rather doing battle in 3 and 4 as Casey Huffman gets into the left rear corner.
Now Jeff Roloffs and Matt Newell tangled together in corner 3, bringing up the caution flag. And Casey Huffman being sent to the tail for contact on the 6R of Jeff Roloffs. So looks like 2 laps left to go. Doug Leonard letting Jeff Roloffs know he's dealt with the 13 of Casey Huffman, but it looks like there's bigger problems than that for Jeff. As well, now he'll get the car back underway.
He just needed to collect himself a little bit. As there's the view we were talking about from the inside of that turn 3 wall. We see Jeff Roloffs come to rest with Matt Newell into the right side door of that race car. There really isn't a door on the right side of the race car. There's actually not a door on the left side either, Greg.
There really isn't one on the 28 of Tate O'Leary. He lost the nose cone on the previous caution. Now he's lost the whole side panel. 28K.
I want a catchy name like a Larry McNugget. But Adam Roches doesn't work with much of anything. Because that would have been a tidbit. That would have been a good one. There's no doors on a race car.
We'll come up with something.
Here all night, folks.
Why'd you have to say McNugget? Barry Beck, Steve Shaw down into corner number 3. They're side by side stacked up behind him. Right now, no one wants that 6th spot. As in it is Tate O'Leary is up there. Matt Wilson catches him and almost sent him into the infield.
That really worries me when you make contact on the front straightaway, because that wall comes up in a hurry in turn number 1. We are getting down to the end of this one. Checkered flag is in the air.
Barry Beck is in. Steve Shaw, Adam Plazik, Brian Brady, Jeffrey Lerman, and the 42 of Matt Wilson. He'll be the final one to transfer in. So Casey Huffman, Matt Newell, Jeff Roloffs, and Tate O'Leary will be done for the evening.
That wasn't so bad.
It was entertaining. Sometimes
it.
you get a B main that doesn't have much of a storyline. That had everything.
Boyd McTavish asked, where's Pete McNell and Tim Jones? Come on, Boyd, you could have swam across the river to get here, pick up a ride. I believe it's about time to go racing with the lockdown showdown, if I'm not mistaken, Greg. I don't know, maybe a little bit of track work going to be done.
Water truck is making some movements up there in corner 2, so we're just keeping an eye on that. But I believe you're right. Pace truck down here on the front stretch. And the 358s lined up over in the pit area.
There's something about dirt modified racers that makes them not want to line up for the feature event. Have you ever noticed that in your travels? They're like, it's almost like it's a mind game to see who can leave their trailer the latest to get to the lineup. Now Doug Leonard calls a tight show, so he'll get them out there. Look at that view of Matty Williamson in the 6 machine. What is?
I do not look that stealth in my iRacing rig.
Speaking of people who have grown up around the sport, I mean, I remember when Matt was a kid and racing. You know, I mean, racing dirt sportsman. He's not an elder statesman, but he's a statesman these days, and it looks like he's got a pretty good starting spot for this one, Greg.
He was young when we were young.
He was still young when we started to get old.
He was younger, but he was young when we were young. First 25 laps of the lockdown showdown about to take place, starting from the pole in the Transport Sales and Service car number 3 RS out of Welland, Ontario. That'll be Dalton Slack lining up on his outside. The S&W Services Center car number 6 out of St. Catharines, Ontario. That'll be Matt Williamson going from position number 3. Position number 3, and the 1XP, I believe that will be. Yes, it is. Austin Wood out of Thorold, Ontario. The Peters Construction Group 1XP. And going from position number 4, coming all the way from the province of Quebec, the two brothers racing SW Farms 25B, that'll be Steve Bernier. Going from spot number 5, the Blue Moon Potatoes car number 28 out of St. Catharines, that'll be Todd Gordon. And lining up to his outside, going from position number 6 out of St. Catharines in the Seaway Fluid Power Ryco St. Amand Auto and Truck Repair 71, that is Mike Bowman. Rolling off from 7th in the Jukasa Motor Speedway 37S. New ride for him this year, that'll be Gary Lindbergh in the 37S. And in the 2X, 2X machine out of Hamilton, Ontario, the exclusive imprint ANT Technologies 2X, that'll be Tom Neal. Rolling off from position number 9 in the Sterling Lubricants 15, that's Adam Leslie out of Port Colborne. And to his outside, car number 18R, that is Brad Rouse. Brad Rouse in the Rick's Delivery number 18R. Then we've got the number 96 of JF Corvo going from 11th. He's from Montreal, Quebec in the Grinder Steakhouse 96C. And lining up to his outside, also from La Belle Province out of Montreal, the Gilles Perreault Workshop 47, that's Simon Harvey Perreault. Inside of the next row, the 08, that'll be Mark Delario, the Mobile One Esso machine. And the 52 of James Michael Friesen in the Bobcat Hamilton ride. As this field is going to go 4 wide to salute you, the fans, watching live at home. And our very own Clinton Jeffrey is joined in the pack at the tail. We're going to get some cool camera shots for you. There it is, 4 wide and fancy for you, the fans. This is the Lockdown Showdown, Operation Green Flag, Mission Humberstone Speedway.
I was not expecting that, Greg.
Neither was I, but I love it. Brian Arbuthnot will also be back there in that R70, the Valley Sales and Service R70 out of Renfrew, Ontario, along with Darren Peters and the 1P from Stevensville, Ontario, the Peters Construction Group machine. There's the white flag being displayed. And also at the tail, the 72, Tanner Podwinski out of Smithville, the Stonecast Contracting, Alden Rentz, GR Environmental number 72. He'll start tail on the field in this one. First 25 laps of the Lockdown Showdown. Dalton Slack, Matt Williamson will bring us to the green flag, our first feature of 2020, Adam. Here we come to the green flag.
Dalton Slack with a lot of confidence hammered the throttle between 3 and 4, brought it to the green, but Matt Williamson up on the outside got through 1 and 2 a little bit better, and 3 and 4 just the same. Williamson with the lead, then it's Dalton Slack and Bernier rounding out the top 3.
Matt Williamson out in front, Dalton Slack there in that second spot. Steve Bernier running in position number 3 as we ride along with Matt Williamson, eyes wide open as he leads lap number 2.
Great work. We've got a cameraman sitting on the air cleaner of Matt Williamson's number 6. Hang on tight.
Williamson, Slack, and Bernier, your top 3 as they work it off of corner number 4. Bernier all over the back end of the Transport Sales and Service 3RS. He'll dive down low in corner number 1. Slack, though, rip riding around the top.
Whatever you're seeing right now, don't worry too much, folks. Matt Williamson is driving away with a good advantage, but this track is going to change a great deal over the course of this 25 laps and then the final 25 laps. I would almost be nervous, Greg, if my car was handling too good at this point in the race.
Matt comes down, completes lap number 5. Good racing throughout the pack right now. Many drivers trying to search out their cars and see what they've got here in this first session. Again, 25 laps in the first half of the Lockdown Showdown. There'll be a break. The Thunderstocks will come out and run their feature, and then we'll have the second half of the Lockdown Showdown. But the drivers have to make a decision. Work on that car during the break and lose your spot, or stay out and hold the track position.
Gary Lindbergh starting to flex some muscle in that number 37 machine, working the outside groove right now on the wood number 1. Trying to work his way into the top 5. That's a battle for the 5th spot.
Oh,
whoa, Mike Bowman.
Wow. Gathers it back up, but he went for a ride in corner number 1, loses 3 spots in the ordeal as now Todd Gordon slips by him. Watching that battle there with Wood and Lindbergh as they cross the stripe, running back there in positions 4 and 5.
Gary Lindbergh is just a tough racer. He does not leave anything on the table. He'll work every part of the racetrack. He'll leave you enough room for your car, but not much more. Love watching Gary Lindbergh behind the wheel.
Leader catching some lap traffic. First car will be Tanner Podwinski in the 72 as he works it down to the inside of corner number 4. Podwinski makes a little contact with the leader down in corner 1.
Yeah, that got a little sketchy for Williamson there as he's got nearly a full straightaway lead right now over Dalton Slack and Steve Bernier battling for 2nd and 3rd.
Matt Williamson catching the meat of the back end of the field. Now James Michael Friesen next in line right in front of the leader. Dalton Slack, he is about a straightaway back, and then Steve Bernier's been able to keep right there on the back Nerf bar of that 3RS in the 3rd spot.
Williamson around the outside of James Michael Friesen. He's got a couple of lap cars between himself and 2nd place Dalton Slack right now. Great battle going on between Brad Rouse in the 18R and the 15 of Adam Leslie. In fact, Rouse just used Leslie up a little bit coming off of turn 4 that last lap. We'll see how that goes over with Leslie behind the wheel of that number 15.
So Matt Williamson leads right now over Dalton Slack. Trouble right in front of the leader. As Simon Harvey-Perot loops it around at corner 4, and that will bring us under the caution with 12 laps to go, just past the halfway point in session number 1.
That yellow flag really saved us a little bit because Matt Williamson was going to start picking off cars and knocking them a lap down. We're just about at the halfway point of this race, halfway to the lockdown.
Left rear flat there for the 47 of Simon Harvey-Perot. Driver from Montreal, Quebec, got a long haul to get back home tonight. So Matt Williamson is the leader. Dalton Slack right now running in the 2nd spot. Steve Bernier lines up in 3rd. 4th is Gary Lindbergh in 37S. 5th right now, Austin Wood. 6th, Todd Gordon. 7th, Mike Bowman. 8th is Brad Rouse. 9th is Adam Leslie. And 10th, Mark Delirio. Tom Neal right now in 11th. 12th would be JF Corriveau. 13th, Ryan Arbuthnot. 14th, that's where we find Darren Peters. And then lap cars back in the 15th spot will be James Michael Friesen. I believe he is the last. Oh, no, Tanner Podwinski is also up there in the 16th spot.
Friesen just got the free pass to get himself back onto the lead lap.
So then there's also the 17th place car would be Simon Harvey. Just went into the pits there, Simon Harvey-Perot, and of course the 18th car that was in the lineup tonight, Fred Carlton, who unfortunately had issues in hot laps and packed up and is already possibly at home watching.
So if I give some courtesy laps here, I think it's only appropriate when someone drives from Quebec to support your race. I think you can give them that. That just shows how hungry these competitors are to get out there and race.
Yeah, it's slim pickings right now, and if you've got your car ready and you want to race, then you're gonna go for what you got to go for. And Montreal's a long haul, but glad that we could have these drivers make the haul from Quebec. Of course, competing last week down at Cornwall Motor Speedway, and that onboard camera shot is phenomenal.
Pretty slick. Got to thank Joel Robinson is here tonight, providing us with that.
I want that shot of you iRacing. I want to see what it looks like with a race car driver with a piece of pizza hanging out the side of his mouth.
Buddy, why would pizza be hanging out the side of my mouth? I rarely miss. You say the most hurtful things. I love it. Meanwhile, we get on camera to do things. You look like you've got a studio built for glamour shots at your house. Clinton comes on. He's in great lighting. I'm there with a ragged-looking T-shirt and dishes that need to be done in the background. I don't have the shrine that other people seem to have. Like, if you came into my house, you would not know, unless you went into Connor's room, which is the iRacing room. You wouldn't know we were. Joel's been in there. It's a sketchy place to be.
That is my man cave. That is my office. That is my home.
So we're going to go back to green with 13 laps to go in this first segment of the Lockdown Showdown.
Back into the green, Matt Williamson leads it down into corner one. Dalton Slack and company in tow. Here comes Steve Bernier, gets a good run on the bottom. And how about Gary Lindbergh? He's really hungry now, seeing the top three in sight.
Yeah, Lindbergh, you know he's going to make his way up there with aggression. Mike Bowman, yellow flag, so he would have been able to regroup and figure something out behind the wheel of that number 71. And that's a great battle for second on back, but right now nobody has anything for Matt Williamson.
Across the stripe another time. Now 10 laps left to go on board with Matt Williamson out for a Sunday drive. And this is why we put the camera looking back at Matt and not looking out the front, because so far he hasn't seen much other than the sunset here at Humberstone Speedway.
But you can see lap after lap, Steve Bernier's learning a little bit about this racetrack. As it takes some rubber out there, he'll figure out what that 25 car likes. Dalton Slack still doing a nice job hanging in there in the third spot, but he's got Gary Lindbergh. Just as I say that, Dalton Slack had a problem in turn number 3, didn't quite hit the line the way he needed to. There goes Lindbergh around for the third spot.
Lindbergh into third, Slack trying to hold on to fourth, but here comes Mike Bowman. He's been on a charge here since the restart on lap number 12 as they come back under the stripe. It's 7 laps left to go here in segment number 1 of the Lockdown Showdown. The one thing I've noticed, Matt Williamson hasn't been able to pull away quite as far this time from Steve Bernier. And if you don't know Steve, he can get it done. He is a tough competitor down in the East.
You're absolutely right there as he works his way through 1 and 2. I'm watching towards the back of the pack right now. Some tight battles there as well. Drivers that want to get a little bit of track position, make sure they stay on that lead lap. We are down to 5 laps to go in this first segment of the Lockdown Showdown.
It's going to be interesting to see who decides to work on their cars and who decides to just stay out, and how that will affect the leaders. Who will they have to start behind in the second segment? 3 laps left to go for Matt Williamson.
Close quarters racing there with Mark Delario in the 08, the 3 of Dalton Slack. Slack starting to slide back through the field just a little bit. He's just ahead of Todd Gordon right now after losing a spot to Mark Delario in the 08.
This time by, it'll be the white flag on segment number 1. 1 lap left to go. Williamson, Bernier, Lindbergh, Bowman, and Slack, the top 5.
Nice, clean opening half to this Lockdown Showdown. I was curious what flag they're going to throw to end this segment.
I believe they're going to complete the lap and throw the yellow flag by the...
So, they complete this lap because they want to score this lap, and I believe they'll go yellow just before Matt Williamson crosses the stripe on this next lap. So yellow checkered, which is just... So it's not a twin 25. There is only one payout for the end of 50 laps.
Well, for them.
So I believe, and we'll get confirmation, Spencer, come down to the window for us, because I believe we are going to throw to Clinton Jeffrey. This is where the Lockdown Showdown takes effect. These cars are going to be led into the pit area, and that's where Clinton Jeffrey is going to capture the action and let us know who is taking the Lockdown Challenge and who is going to stop at their pit to make adjustments on their race cars. We will wait for Matt Williamson to exit the racing surface and head back into the pits. And at that point, Jeffrey's going to be the man on the scene.
Interested to see who is deciding to work on their cars and who is deciding not to. And you wonder if there's a few drivers at the back that you would technically think they're at the back, they're going to want to work on their cars, but how important is that track position that this might be their opportunity, that they think they have something better if they could just get out of the traffic? I'm thinking of someone like maybe like a Ryan Arbuthnot or Jeff Corvo, those types of drivers.
Ryan Arbuthnot was one that I was thinking of for certain in that R7. So Matt, so if they take the hard right, they're taking the lockdown challenge and they're just putting their car onto the grid for the final 25 laps.
So it's Matt Williamson.
So Mark Delario. Mark Delario is going to his pit area. Tom Neal in the 2, the 96 machine.
JF Corvo going to his stall.
Austin Wood, I believe.
And then that's where that changes it for the drivers at the back, like a Ryan Arbuthnot. When you see most of the leaders decide, well, we're going to keep our position, why not go in and maybe try and do something with the car? But we'll see who all decided to keep their position and who's decided to go to the pit area.
Williamson climbs out of the race car, that number 6 machine, because as we know, there's a 25-lap Thunderstock feature event that's going to take place right now. And then after the Thunderstock feature event is completed, we will complete the modified portion of the Lockdown Challenge. Operation Green Flag, Mission Humberstone Speedway. Should I have been saying the new Humberstone Speedway all night?
I think I've sprinkled in both here and there.
Yeah.
Nothing's new to me anymore, especially after the last 3 months of life.
It's been, let me tell you, yeah, I was glad to see May in our rearview mirror. I'll be happy to see 2020 in our rearview mirror, I think. Not that I want to wish it gone, Greg. It's just, boy, oh boy.
My favorite meme in all of this has been the Marty McFly DeLorean one, where Doc says, whatever you do, don't turn this to 2020. Thunderstocks taken to the racetrack, getting ready for their feature event. It's been some tense competition, to say the least, in this division tonight. And I think it's a bit of, one, we've got some top-rate drivers from all across the province here, and two, it's the first night, everybody's hungry, everyone wants to get to the front early and often, and they know this is on live broadcast as well, so there's that added bonus. So this is going to be an interesting feature event for the Thunderstocks. The Fonz, Jason Fontaine, will line up from the pole in the 1J machine. Dan Williams Electric and Industrial Service Camaro out of St. Catharines, Ontario, or make that point, Colborne, Ontario. Nope.
We got to mention Brad Rouse. His sponsor is Bellinger in the 18R, so that's a new one for me.
It's actually going to be Jeff Humphrey from the pole in this one. From Trenton in the Oasis Fuel, Green Grass Oasis, car number 17 to his outside, Brewster Baker. Dave Bailey in the Queenston Chevrolet, Jibs Action Sport 49. David of Hagersville going from row number 2 to the inside. That's where we'll find Jason Fontaine. And to his outside, the Burger Barn East 1 Construction 55, Mike Thorne. Going from the 5th spot in the Club 54 Racing, number 25, Ken Sargent out of Hamilton. And lining up on his outside from Berlin, Ontario, the Steve Shaw Race Cars, number 96, Junior, Steve Shaw Jr. Inside row number 4, the M1, that is Rob Murray. And on his outside from Jerseyville in the Advantage Electric 53, Logan Schwedek. Row 5, the 43C out of Hamilton. The Hamilton Hot Shoe, Clinton Nichols. The Security, Zoro Muffler 43C. Chris Hale in the Draper Door, 79. He'll go from the 10th spot. Back there in 11th, that's where we'll find Justin Ramsey in Belleville, Ontario, the APC Auto Parts Center. ABC Taxi 03 on his outside in the Oasis Fuel 0. Tyler French from Belleville as well. 07, that is Brian Pachetti, and he hails from Hamilton. Lining up on his outside, that's where we find the 72G of Marcel Gadet from Windsor, the Tecumseh Science Machine. Kyle Quinn back there in the 99. He's from Coburg. The 11 of Go Fast Teeple, the Beamsville Fish and Chips number 11. Alongside of him will be the 37J. That is Jeff Bean and the Wally Racing Machine. Rob Disher out of Grimsby in car number 17. The inside of the next row to his outside is where we'll find Zach Bleach in 108Z from Port Robinson. Bit Welland, Palfinger 108Z. Barry Beck Jr. back there in the 01 Junior. And on his outside, Ian Blanchard in the 31B. Adam Plazik in the 41. The 96 of Steve Shaw, the 601 of Jeffrey Lerman, the 42 of Matt Wilson, the 6 of Jeff Roloffs, and the 2 of Matt Newell. Thunderstocks are coming at you 4 wide and fancy for you, the fans, here on Operation Green Flag of the new Humberstone Speedway.
Working on the 4 wide. They're getting there.
All right, they're gonna get them all perfectly 4 wide this time by.
The crowd is going nuts.
This is our way to say thank you to everyone tuned in, watching this broadcast from Humberstone Speedway. It's great to be back racing. It's not the same without you, the fans, here in the stands. We miss you for sure tonight, but glad that you could tune in and watch this broadcast. 4 wide and fancy. Look at those Thunderstocks. A great looking field here in Operation Green Flag. Great shot from on board the buggy. I want to thank Revs Full Throttle for providing that side-by-side for Clinton Jeffrey to ride along in. Full Throttle for all of your power sports needs. Big supporters of motorsports here in Southern Ontario. White flag is out. Next time by, we're coming to the green flag for the Thunderstocks. 25 laps the distance here on Lockdown Showdown night. Not a duel on the dirt race, but boy, it's got that feel with the cross-section of drivers we see here tonight. So some bragging rights on the line. I know they all show a lot of pride when they can win one of these combined events.
$1,000 to win, Greg. That's nothing to sneeze at. Humphreys on the inside in the 17, the 49 of Dave Bailey on the high side. Green flag is out.
Down into corner 1 they go. Humphrey on the bottom, Bailey up top. Oh, 3 wide. Jason Fontaine, he finds some room on the bottom, and the top 3 change around. Here comes Ken Sargent and Rob Murray into the mix.
I don't know if Fontaine cut a right front tire down or what, but his car does not want to turn. Right front seems to be up, but something was amiss on the Fontaine 1J as Rob Murray works to his inside through turn number 2.
Bailey grabbed the lead, but here comes Humphrey. He's reeling him back in, riding in that second spot. Right around goes Rob Murray.
Boy, I'll want to see that again, but I think Rob Murray, I don't think he got any help there, did he, Greg? Oh, Adam Blazik right up under the rear end of Zach Bleach.
Go Fast Teeple involved. And
who is that turned around? Is that, it's not Logan Schwedick. I think it's Chris Hale. The 79.
We are getting older, sitting up here squinting at the screen.
Safety crew is on the scene. Clinton giving some direction. Clinton Jeffrey is down there. So Chris Hale got it. Okay, the action was way in front of them. We got the countdown to Clinton Jeffrey. We can see him ready down there in 3 and 4. Clinton Jeffrey, whenever you're ready, take it away. So we can hear the radio transmissions going on. We happen to be able to hear what Clinton and Spencer are communicating over the radio. Looks like we're going to go red, I believe, to give the safety crew just a little bit more opportunity to work down there without other cars around them.
Well, guys, down here at turn 3 and 4, you got a couple of problems. You see Adam Plazik up here under the back end. All hood all tore up on his car. He's jacked up the back end of the bleach car. Over here, you got Go Fast people trying to back up the number 11. His car appears to be all right, but it doesn't sound like the gears and the transmission are in proper order. Got a bit of smoke on the right side. Christopher Hale with the 79 looks like he's got some issues here. He was the start of that with the Burger Barn car, but doesn't look like he's got many problems. He should be able to drive away once the track's clear. The big question here is the 108 with Zach Bleach and Adam Plazik. Adam, you've got your helmet off. Does that mean you're done for the night? You guys don't think you can get anything going even to get off your hood?
Oh, definitely not. I think I'd be worried about the ride and everything. Yeah, I think that's about it.
All right, they're here from young Adam Plazik. He's a second-year driver in this division, trying to get it done, guys. We got a bit of a cleanup here in 3 and 4, but we'll be back at you shortly from this point.
It's just creepy when you can't watch his lips move. There's just something, he's looking at me and there's sound coming out, but it's like watching a Bruce Lee movie, kind of. Like, but not, the lips are out of sync. There's just none.
He started looking very ninja at the start of the night, but it's dropped down past the nose.
It's getting a little droopy. No, it's over. He's still working it.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying, and this is awful. We did this for years, listening to Doug Leonard in the tower until they built a wall so we couldn't hear him as well. Are you able to hear the radio transmissions? I can't hear what Clint is saying to Spencer over the production radio, but I can just hear loud voices in the background. It's very intense. I feel like he needs a hug.
I'll let you do that.
It's social distancing. I can't get near him.
Hey, you're like family.
Nope.
Is he within your 10?
Christine, give him a hug when he gets home, please. He needs it.
And a haircut. My hair was built for this pandemic. I can go years without needing one.
Yeah. Mine just got grayer. I like that our viewers are commenting on Rob Murray's speed secrets. Come on, just tell Adam Plazik to grab reverse. Actually, rev it up to about 4,000 RPM, then grab reverse. Problem solved.
Who needs hood pins?
And if you're Adam Plazik, you really have no idea what the car's going to be like when they pull the bleach machine off. Same with Zach Bleach. You know, you see Plazik's left front wheel turn to the right. Hopefully the right front wheel is also turned to the right. Right? I mean, you straighten him up, you drive away. And he is going to be taking advantage of the safety crew. Say, okay, what's my car look like? Now, I have a dumb question. Is this our safety team, Greg?
That's a good question.
Or is
I
this
do
the
not know.
Humberstone group? Things that we should know, but we don't. Burger Barn Racing following along. Great to see you guys following here and cheering on Mike Thorne.
We will be at Flamborough next week for deliveries. We can receive.
You know what's going to be fun? You think it's hard to do a starting lineup here? Wait till you get to do the vintage modifieds. Because you got driver, hometown sponsors, but then you have to say what their car is. Oh, if it's a 1935 Dodge Coach.
I thought we'd throw back and forth. I'll do the odd weeks and you do the even weeks. So you're up next week.
There we go. I'm looking forward to that.
I've seen the Canadian Vintage Modifieds a few times and always put on a great show. But John Carley and the crew have done a fantastic job in rebuilding the club and just strengthening it. I'm excited to see what they bring to the table to Flamborough Speedway next Saturday. Again, 2 p.m. start time, live on GForceTV.net. Here we see Go Fast Teeple.
And we need to, sorry to cut you off, Greg, but we need to give a shout out to Dale Shineman tonight. We understand he's been transported to the hospital. Might have been a mishap at a speedway. He was working this evening.
Oh.
Things that you never like to hear, so hopefully Dale's going to be all right. He's been around this game for a long, long time also.
Yeah. Well, we wish the best to Dale for sure.
So we've got some questions on what is Adam Plazik's relationship to Joe Plazik. I believe Adam is Joe's nephew.
Yes. I believe that's the...
We believe that's the case. He looks like a Plazik.
Yes.
You look at me, yep. He's going to get pushed back to the pit area in that 41 machine.
Someone asking what the pizza count is so far. No cheeseburgers.
We had pizza delivered a couple hours ago, and we shared.
Yeah, we did.
The whole stream team got involved in that. Got to feed the boys.
The question:
girls.
how many cheeseburgers for Dougie? I haven't seen Doug with a cheeseburger yet tonight. We're going to send it to Clinton Jeffrey for something far more important.
Well, we got Matt Williamson here. Matt, you know, you didn't go back to the pitch. You're going to lock down, Matt, and take it from the front row again. You obviously felt good in that first segment. How's the track, and how do you feel?
Track's really good. There was a wet spot on the 1 and 2. I just kept hitting that, but towards the end I was just kind of biding my time and trying to not get the tires too hot, so that when we pulled over here on the go-kart track and hung up for a little bit, they don't seal over. So I feel pretty good. We're excited to be back racing. I mean, whatever happens now, it's been a good night at the racetrack, and we're excited about it.
There you have it. Matt Williamson had a great night. Won his heat. Won the first segment, guys. He's holding strong here in quarantine to go for the next round. He'll go from the pole.
So big thank yous to our commenters saying, yes, Adam is Frank Plazik's son.
I was going to say that, but I was afraid to. The moment I do, I'm wrong.
And we've already got a lot of comments from people saying that they're bored of the 6 car. No more coverage of the 6 car. It's tough not to give him a lot of attention. He is the dominant factor so far. And let's also remember, Steve Bernier's English is not very good. So there's different.
Makes for a very entertaining interview when you're not the one interviewing.
It's funny when it's not me.
That's why a guy like Tim Baltz has a guy like Brian Mulligan.
Okay, got another message that Adam Plazik is also Jamie Turner's nephew.
Yes.
For those of you scoring at home. Green flag is back out in the Thunderstock feature event. Dave Bailey going to lead them down into turn number 1. Humphrey doing a good job of keeping up, but as they come off of turn 2, Bailey with a big run down the backstretch.
Car's slow going into the pit area. As to that was if it was Jason Fontaine possibly that made the, yep, Jason Fontaine headed into the pit area, so he evacuates up in corner number 3.
Bailey not really getting out too far. Kenny Sargent up there in the second spot, keeping the pressure on. Justin Ramsey right there as well.
Dave Bailey leading the way, but hasn't been able to pull out too far just yet. Ken Sargent right there keeping close tabs on him. Then it's side by side. Pick up the Eastern Ontario driver, Justin Ramsey.
Ian Blanchard on fire on the front straightaway in the 31 machine. He'll come to a stop right at the start-finish line. Oh, come on, that car's pretty. We don't need a barbecue this early in the season.
Safety crew there quickly. That's one of the hardest things to call as officials too, because you've got to have some good eyes to watch. Directly under the hood there, and the safety crew very quick to get it out. Ian climbs out of the car okay.
A lot of people asking earlier, was that Barry Blanchard or was it Ian Blanchard? I chatted with Ian earlier in today. He was pretty excited to get onto the racetrack. Had a lot of fun with Ian over the off-season with iRacing, and your iRacing rig rarely catches fire. Virtual racing is mostly a flame-free sport.
Depends on what was for dinner. Dave Bailey leads the way over Ken Sargent, Justin Ramsey. Jeff Humphreys back there in 4th. Logan Schwedek running in 5th. 6th right now is Mike Thorne. 7th, Tyler French. 8th, Steve Shaw Jr. 9th is Clinton Nichols. And 10th, Rob Disher. 11th, well, Kyle Quinn, who lines up right now 11th, is actually being told to pull up in behind Tyler French. So he'll move up. Rob Disher now 11th. 12th would be Barry Beck Jr. 13th, Rob Murray. 14th, Jeff Bean. 15th, Matt Wilson. 16th, Chris Hale. 17th is Brian Luchetti. 18th, Matt Newell. 19th, Jeff Roloffs. Ian Blanchard, the only other car on the track, but he's getting pushed to the pit area. Of course, Jason Fontaine has dropped out. Rejoining the field, coming out of the pits now. That might be Marcel Gadet. Yes, Marcel's going to rejoin. Pace truck speeds up down the back stretch. Field takes shape. Looks like we're ready to come back to the green flag at the new Humberstone Speedway here in Operation Green Flag. Thunderstocks finishing up their feature, and then we have the second half of the lockdown showdown for the 358 modifieds. Dave Bailey brings us to the green, sprints out to the lead, but here comes Ken Sargent on the bottom. He's got a good running corner too.
Sargent with a great drive down the back straightaway. Nice job by Zach Bleach and crew getting that car back on the racetrack just in time for the restart. We've got a new race leader, Kenny Sargent, out in front. Justin Ramsey does second.
Humphreys right there in that 3rd spot, getting low on Dave Bailey, inches ahead of him. Logan Schwedek looking to take the same line as well. Dave Bailey not liking the outside as much. Now it's side by side up the front.
Justin Ramsey looking to the high side on Kenny Sargent. They'll race door to door. almost off of turn number 2. Sargent really getting around 1 and 2 very well. I think Ramsey able to pick up some ground in 3 and 4, but Sargent definitely the better car in 1 and 2.
Sargent, Ramsey, Humphrey, Schwedick, Bailey, the top 5. French working now on the back end of the 49, as is Mikey Bobby. Mike Thorne, good battle up at the front among 7 cars.
Surprising to see Bailey almost knocked out of the top 5, so that Queenston Chev number 49 not having the night he wanted. Tyler French and Mike Thorne giving him all sorts of fits, pressuring for that spot. We've got great battles all over the place. A fun battle for the 3rd spot as we are under yellow. We've got one off the track outside of 3 and 4. Jeremy Bean.
Was it Jeremy or Jeff? I have Jeff on my roster.
Oh. I thought it was Jeremy.
Ace truck collects the field. Justin Ramsey out in front now over Ken Sargent, Jeff Humphrey, Logan Schwedick, and Dave Bailey. That's your top 5. Mike Thorne 6th, 7th, Tyler French 8th, Steve Shaw Jr. 9th is Rob Murray, 10th Rob Disher, 11th Chris Hale, 12th Kyle Quinn, 13th. That's where we find Clinton Nichols, 14th Barry Back Jr., 15th Brian Pichetti, 16th is going to be Marcel Gadet. It's Matt Wilson, Matt Newell, Zach Bleach, Jeff Rolifs, Jeff Bean. That's the running order right now. Coming back to the green flag, Thunderstocks. Here at the Humberstone Speedway, Operation Green Flag back on. Ramsey up top, Sargent on the bottom.
Sargent had to pinch the car down just a little bit. That allowed Ramsey to nose out in front of that 0-3 trouble. Mike Thorne goes around. Might have had some help from the 96 of Steve Shaw Jr., not really certain.
Mike Thorne coming to a rest, facing the wrong way there between 3 and 4. See if we can get another look at that calamity down there.
We'll have a look. We're watching for the 55 up in the top right corner. It almost looks like Tyler French in pitching the car into the corner. Might have been some contact that way, but close quarters racing with these Thunderstocks.
Called the double up. Mr. Ramsey selecting the bottom this time to start.
Rob Murray getting a little bit closer to the front where he can start to make his presence felt. Chris Hale quietly having a nice run in that 79 machine.
Thorne letting the rest of the field go by. He'll tag on to the back of the pack. So we come back to the green flag. Justin Ramsey is your leader in the 0-3. Ken Sargent on the outside in the 25. Green flag back in the air. They'll all fire down the front stretch.
Front 3, mostly single file, and then all hell breaks loose through the field. Tyler French trying to hold off Dave Bailey as he works the middle groove of the racetrack. Bailey right around the bottom, but out in front, Ramsey by 3 car lengths at the stripe.
Oh, one in the wall down here in the front stretch. Rob Disher comes to rest in the St. Catherine's towing 17. Puts us back under the caution flag again with 16 laps left to go. Rob at a Grimsby's going to need a hook down here, I do believe. That car made some hard impact.
Report from the pits, Ian Blanchard had a valve cover gasket come apart. Spray some oil down on the headers, and that'll light up 9 times out of 10.
Send the safety crew down to the attention of Rob Disher, and they're calling for the hook because you can see that right front crumpled up as Rob climbs out of the car. Rob will come out and have a look, but not going to like what he sees down there. Rob Disher's night comes to an end as we have still just halfway left in this one for the Thunderstocks, and then 25 laps left to go for the modifieds in the lockdown showdown. These drivers not deciding to lock down, having plenty of time to work on their car over in the pit area and prepare for tonight's feature event. The second half of it, that is. Justin Ramsey leading the way over Ken Sargent in second. Jeff Humphrey back there in the third position. Fourth is Logan Schwedick. Fifth, Dave Bailey. Sixth, Tyler French. Seventh is where we find Chris Hale. Eighth, Steve Shaw Jr. Ninth, Rob Murray. 10th is Kyle Quinn. 11th is Brian Pachetti. 12th, Barry Beck Jr. 13th, Marcel Gadet. 14th, Clinton Nichols. 15th, Zach Bleach. 16th, Jeff Roloff. 17th, Mike Thorne. 18th, Matt Newell. 19th, Jeff Bean. And 20th, Matt Wilson. So 20 cars left on the racetrack now for the Thunderstock division.
And Greg, we got to give a big thank you to the sponsors of tonight's event. Lockdown Showdown here at Humberstone Speedway, Bicknell Racing Products, Maxima Racing Oils, ShadowAuto.com. Events like this couldn't be put on without some great supporters, some great help, and this has been a fun one to call, that's for sure.
Rob Disher on the hook. Field being told to double up. We'll get back to the green flag here for the Thunderstock feature event. And Humberstone Speedway in Port Colborne, Ontario, Canada. Thank everyone watching here. GForceTV.net. This will be rebroadcast on Rev TV Canada.
I think that's going to be a lot of fun for these drivers, Greg. The opportunity to share this with their friends and family and sponsors and say, you know what, you can watch on TV at home. That's one thing that it's pretty rare. They're able to do that and share it up. But hopefully they're proud of the work that they put on.
Lights going out on the pace truck, coming back to the green flag. Justin Ramsey, Ken Sargent, front row restart is on, and they'll rock it down the front stretch.
Sargent quickly fighting to get to the bottom of the racetrack. That seems to be where the 25 machine likes to be. But he comes off the bottom, coming off of turn number 2. That opens the door for Humphreys to make a move to the inside. Rob Murray in that M1. Man, oh man, every time he tries to make a move, he winds up getting shuffled here and shuffled there, moved off his line, but still he's up there in the top 10.
Wheel to wheel for the second spot. Humphrey And Sargent behind them. It's Schwedek and Bailey also side by side. Oh, and they stack up behind them. Pachetti goes around. And I believe that's Tyler French that came to a stop at the high side of corner 4 as well. Puts us back under the caution flag.
Everyone able to pull away from that problem spot down there in 3 and 4. Pace truck going to pick up Justin Ramsey.
Tyler French will catch the tail end of the field. Scorers here getting things sorted out and lined up and ready to go. One to go. Next time around, we'll get back to the green flag field. Set and ready now. It's going to be Jeff Humphrey on the outside of Justin Ramsey. 2 Brighton Speedway regulars. At the front, Ken Sargent, Logan Schwedek back there in row number 2. See them weekly at Schweeken Speedway.
You know, it's so hard to pinpoint a track for the elite drivers in the Thunderstock class because they're pretty well traveled anymore. Whether it's Merrittville, Humberstone, Schweeken, Brighton, Buxton.
Green flag back in the air, and they head down into corner number 1, side by side. Humphrey on the outside, and it's Ramsey on the bottom. Here comes Logan Schwedek. Oh, I think he might have got some help from Ken Sargent up the track.
That was a big opportunity for Chris Hale in the 79, who moves up to that 4th position. Hale working the bottom of the track now. Ken Sargent is a little bit higher on the racetrack, and he'll try to rub his way back to that guardrail on the inside, or to the Jersey barrier, I should say. So now,
that backed Hale up into Rob Murray and then stacks everyone up behind there. How about Dave Bailey drifting back outside of the top 5 now?
Yeah, he's having a tough night to Steve Shaw Jr. to the outside in that 96, picking up a position. We are at the halfway point, folks. 13 laps down, 12 laps to go in this Thunderstock 25-lap event.
Ramsey works it off a corner 4, beginning to put some distance on himself, and Humphrey in the 2nd position. Sargent 3rd, Schwedek 4th, and it's wheel-to-wheel for 5th. Rob Murray and Chris Hale. Murray's had an eventful night. He's done a nice job to pick his way up there into contention for a top 5.
You know darn well nobody up there is interested in anything but the win. And these guys want the checkered flag, they want the glory, and they want the $1,000 that's going to come with it. What a cluster we've got for that 3rd spot. Schwedek in the 53, Sargent in the 25, the 79 of Chris Hale. Then Rob Murray kind of hanging back there, running the bottom groove. Now we'll have a look to the inside of Hale.
3-car battle, make that 4-car battle all right there for the 3rd spot. Logan Schwedek gets it back. Sargent back to 4th. Rob Murray and Chris Hale door to door down in corner number 3. Leader catching Marcel Gadet, who's got a right rear tire going soft. He'll finally get up high and out of the way of the leaders. That time by, it looked like Chris Hale may have had, I thought maybe it was some smoke, but he's got that blue lighting in the car, and I think he's off. Maybe that's, we'll see.
I've seen a couple of cars look like wisps of smoke coming off them, but I was mistaken. And as I thought Hale was going to get overtaken by Rob Murray, he swings to the outside of Ken Sargent to pick up a position.
Yeah, nice job using that outside line. Murray slips by Ken Sargent. Things shuffling up as Logan Schwedek also got by Jeff Humphrey for the 2nd spot, working that inside line.
Man, there's a couple of drivers with a lot of laps in street stocks. Rob Murray and Kenny Sargent out there. Chris Hale, a little bit of a younger guard in the 79 machine.
Close quarters there for Justin Ramsey. Squeaking to the inside of Matt Wilson down in corner number 3. Gets by him to lap him. No contact between Hale and Humphrey. Back there in position number 3.
And I was watching Rob Murray and Ken Sargent. I believe they had a little bit of contact down in 3 and 4.
And Schwedek sitting there in that second spot, working the bottom, trying to get by Matt Wilson. 4 laps left to go. Schwedek boxed in behind the lap car, losing ground to Justin Ramsey. That works for Chris Hale, who's found something on the top, but the lap car goes up into his lane.
Now what he just found on the top was the slower car, but did a nice job to get by on the back straightaway. Schwedek really lost some ground there in that 53 machine, and laps are winding down.
This is great to see for Chris Hale, having some early success, running well in this one. It's not over yet, but 2 years ago he went on a stretch where he was unbeatable. And then the start of last year, he demolished his car down at Southern Ontario Motor Speedway and just never got things back going properly in 2019. But a good start here tonight, challenging for the runner-up spot.
Justin Ramsey with a big advantage. If he keeps this car clean for the final lap and a half, he should be looking at a $1,000 payday here in the Lockdown Showdown at Humberstone Speedway. White flag is out.
Brighton Speedway regular down there in corner number 1. Cutting through the lap traffic, Logan Schwedek, Chris Hale, door-to-door for the second spot. Rob Murray running in 4th, but going down into corner 3 and 4 for the final time. Checkers coming out. Oh, troubles right in front of the leader, I thought for a moment, but Justin Ramsey's going to pick up the double checkers and the win. Logan Schwedek squeaks out second over Chris Hale.
By a nose, Schwedek over Hale. There was a couple of cautions in that one, Greg, but still, all in all, a good Thunderstock race, hotly contested. And I don't think too many people picked Justin Ramsey to win this one before the green flag dropped.
Well, I think a few from east of Toronto did, but early on it looked like a Dave Bailey show.
Not that he didn't belong in victory lane, Justin Ramsey, but if you tell me Dave Bailey's starting on the front row of a Thunderstock race, it's tough to bet against him.
Yeah, especially on this type of race surface. And Dave Bailey outside of the top 5 tonight. So Justin Ramsey, Chris Hale, Logan Schwedek, Rob Murray. Going across the scales over there, and we'll go down trackside and talk with the winner here tonight, Justin Ramsey out of Belleville, Ontario. Still to come, the final 25-lap segment for the 358 Modifieds. Here at the Lockdown Showdown of the new Humberstone Speedway in Port Colborne, Ontario, Canada. Greg Kellman along with Adam Ross down trackside. We'll hear from him in a moment. Clinton Jeffrey talk with our winner. And here comes Justin Ramsey, fresh off the scales, rolls it through corner number 4 and heads down to the front stretch. Picked up some big wins in 2019, including, if I'm not mistaken, the Art Hill Memorial, or not the Art Hill, Brock Leonard Memorial this week in the 50 lap main event there last year.
Justin, come right around for us, okay? Yeah. Over here, Davey.
One of those drivers is just as deadly on the road as he is at home. Climbing into the car, Justin Ramsey will send it down trackside with Clinton Jeffrey.
Justin Ramsey gets it done. Justin, we talked to you before the race here tonight about how you felt here. You said you felt good. The car looked good, man. What does it mean to grab the first checkered flag on dirt here in Ontario this year?
I don't know, man. It's awesome. I can't believe that we got it done. I didn't know what happened with the redraw, and I seen that I started 11th. I'm like, great, here we go. But lap 1, we were like, I don't even know. I can't even remember. I think we're in 6th. It was wicked.
Let's talk about all the cautions out there. It certainly helped you cool things down, but twice there in the last 5 laps, lap cars nearly got you in 3 and 4.
Yeah, I seen that a couple times. I could see them in my peripheral, and I'm like, oh no, I'm getting smoked, and we just cleared it.
Who helped you get here tonight, Justin?
I'd like to say thanks to APC in Belleville, KD Transmission, Bellevue Fabricating, ABC Taxi, Just Having Fun, which is Barry O'Connor and Jerry, Club 54 Racing, Peacemaker 420, and everybody that put this on.
It'll make the 3.5-hour ride back to Brighton a little bit easier for you, Justin. Congrats.
Thank you very much.
Justin Ramsey gets it done here at the Lockdown Showdown, guys. We'll be right back with second and third.
Hey, when do you want to...
We'll give it to him right now and we'll get it on tape. Spencer, he's giving him the champagne. Logan, right here.
Good job, boys. Good job.
So
Well, as Dave looks at the crack open the champagne, I'm over here, Logan Schwedek. Logan, a solid run for you for the Ashwegan guys. You look pretty good out there. You know, you weren't one of the guys on paver who we thought would be dominant here, but the end it really came back to you.
Yeah, just working hard over the winter, trying to make the car faster and trying to learn. That's all it is, and just keep turning laps and trying to get better. These guys ran great tonight. Got to give it to Ramsey. He was quick. I had nothing for him, but just glad I could get out here and get a race under my belt and finish second. It's always a good head start for the season.
We heard a lot of the veterans say the track changed a lot. Really hard to get a grip on. Did you find it different tonight?
Yeah, it was changing for sure. I mean, there was more grip at the start, but it's kind of expected. So we're learning as we go.
All right, good job. Logan Schwedek grabs second, and I'll just move right over here and grab Christopher Hill. Chris, you were involved in a bad wreck early in this one, and somehow the yellows helped you get back in it. Talk about your drive there. You were backwards in turn 4 at one point in this race.
Yeah, I'd really like to see what the car was able to do if we didn't get involved in that wreck, but thanks for Humberstone Speedway for putting this on. We, as the driver, we all appreciate it. I'd like to throw a shout out to my sponsors, Beothuck, Stony Creek Transmission, HRE, Draper's Doors, and Parson & Associates.
Good job. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Christopher Hill finishes third. How about a hand for your top 3 tonight as you're sitting at home? And they got it done here tonight. Justin Ramsey, Logan Schwedek, and Christopher Hill, guys. Back up to you. Segment 2 of the Modifieds coming up next.
Track announcer here at Humberstone Speedway, Stephen Petty, making the mention that Justin Ramsey, former winner of the All-Canadian here at Humberstone Speedway, so he's no stranger to victory lane here at all. And another big win. Another big check to take home to Belleville, Ontario for Justin Ramsey.
And the check had $1,300 written on it. We were saying $1,000, at least I was saying $1,000 to win, but $1,300, that leaves $1,000 after you put fuel in the gas tank. And $2,300 for the modifieds we're hearing, so.
It's almost as much as you make a night.
Yeah. Okay, so Wingenbach Racing sponsored the extra $300 in each division. This is how you learn things, Craig.
All the modifieds coming back to life. We see them creeping their way out of the pit area.
Matt Williamson, the number 6, leads them out. Steve Bernier in the 25. Gary Lindbergh in the 37 will restart third. Mike Bowman in the 71, fourth. Dalton Slack in the 3, fifth. Then it'll be Todd Gordon in the 28. And I believe Austin Wood in the 1. Is that Austin Wood in the 1 just ahead of Brad Rouse in the 18R, Greg?
Yes, it is, the 1XP.
Gotcha.
The one that Austin is in. So cars are locked down. The 6 of Matt Williamson, the 25 of Steve Bernier, the 37S of Gary Lindbergh, 71 of Mike Bowman, the Dalton Slack in the 3RS. Todd Gordon in the 28th, he'll restart 6th. 7th is Austin Wood. 8th, Brad Rouse. 9th, Adam Leslie. 10th, Ryan Arbuthnot did lockdown. 11th, James Michael Friesen. And the 47 of Simon Harvey Perot. Those were all the cars that locked down. Everyone went back to their hauler, made some adjustments, and the only car 1 lap down is Tanner Podwinski. So everyone else remains on the lead lap.
So then the cars that you did not mention, Tom Neal, the 2X, Mark Delario in the 08, the Jordan Peters in the 1P. Darren Peters, I'm sorry. Corvo in the 96. JP or JF?
JF.
I'm terrible at this. You know, what's interesting, it's much clearer to look at the cars on our monitor than it is to look out the window of the tower. Excellent cameras, excellent camera work. Matt Williamson on the inside, Steve Bernier on the outside. That's how they're going to come to the green flag to finish the final 25 laps in this 50-lap lockdown showdown.
Green back in the air, Matt Williamson. It's on the loud pedal, leads him down into corner number 1. Bernier up around the outside. Gary Lindbergh wheel to wheel behind them with Mike Bowman.
And we can tell you with absolute certainty this is a much different racetrack than they ran the first 25 laps on. These drivers going to have to get a feel for what we've got. As I say that, Steve Bernier pushes up the racetrack in turn 2, loses a couple of car lengths to the race leader.
Williamson up around the top side. Remember, before we went to the break, he was smooth and steady there on the bottom for quite a bit, as was Bernier. Bernier works the top side. Corner 2 really seems to be his weak spot right now in that 25 machine. Gets through 3 and 4 pretty well, but when he gets to 2, it really pushes up the hill.
He's driving it hard down into the corner, trying to get the car to rotate. When he gets on the throttle, it rotated a little better for him that time. He's almost got to jump on the throttle and get that car rotated. He's driving it hard up the left rear in turn 2 and pushing him right up the racetrack.
Matt Williamson out in front over Steve Bernier. Then it's Gary Lindbergh third. Mike Bowman running fourth. Fifth at the moment is Todd Gordon in the 28. Sixth, Dalton Slack. Seventh, that's where we find Austin Wood. Eighth, Brad Rouse. Ninth is, I believe, Ryan Arbuthnot. Yes, it is. And 10th is where the battle's at. Mark Delario and Adam Leslie go at it side by side.
Mark Delario was one who went to his pits. They made some adjustments on that 08 machine. Not sure what they did to that car, but he's working the outside. A lot of these other drivers running the bottom of the racetrack. Delario's up on the high side. The passes are not coming easily to the 08, but he's not giving up out there.
Williamson works another lap, 18 to go. Out in front over Steve Bernier. Mike Bowman into the third spot momentarily. Lindbergh tried back on the outside. Those two have been at it since the green flag dropped here in the second segment.
Great battle between a couple of hard-nosed racers out there in 3 and 4. Folks, anything can happen. When they encounter this slower traffic, there is 17 laps left to go right now. When they get to traffic, it is anybody's game. Look how far ahead Matt Williamson's eyes are looking when we go to his onboard. He sees what he's in for.
And he can see the traffic coming up ahead. Tanner Podwinski is the only car a lap down at this moment. He's about to go down 2 as Matt tracks him down. Bernier's keeping pace. He's not right there, but he hasn't gotten so far back that this traffic can't help him in a great way.
Just ran a really interesting line in 3 and 4. He goes into the corner on the outside, then brings the car down the banking to exit turn 4 on the bottom of the racetrack. It almost looks like he's closing some ground on Williamson. Well, now Williamson ran a very similar line to that, this time in 3 and 4.
So now the lap traffic is there. Podwinski right in front of Matt Williamson. Matt slips down to the inside line, goes down to the inside of corner number 3.
Oh, no.
And right around goes JF Corvo, and that will bring out the caution flag.
And that eliminates the slower traffic from the equation. Now, Steve Bernier can keep pace with Matt Williamson. We've seen that. But I think the slower traffic might have been a fun opportunity for him.
I believe Tanner Podwinski may get his original lap back because I don't think they'd completed that lap where he went down a second lap, so that may put him back in the lead lap. It's Matt Williamson, Steve Bernier, Mike Bowman, Gary Lindbergh, and Todd Gordon right now running in the top 5. Dalton Slack up there in 6th, Austin Wood 7th, Brad Rose 8th. Ryan Arbuthnot 9th, and Adam Leslie in 10th. Mark Delario back in 11th. Then it's Simon Harvey Perot in the 12th spot. 13th appears to be James Michael Friesen. 14th is Darren Peters. 15th. Looks like it's going to be Tom Neal instead, and then Darren Peters and Tanner Podwinski. White flag out. Next time by, we'll come back to the green flag here in segment number 2 of the Lockdown Showdown of the new Humberstone Speedway in Port Colborne, Ontario, Canada. Greg Kellman along with Adam Ross, and down trackside Clinton Jeffrey. Final race of the night. They're bunched up, stacked, and ready to go. Does Steve Bernier have anything for leader Matt Williamson?
Bernier works up the racetrack. Williamson gets on the throttle. This time Bernier timed it a little bit better. He's got a nice run towards the outside. They'll go down into 1 and 2 side by side.
Bernier up top gets a good run that time through corner number 2. Maybe the best one he's had yet here tonight. He keeps track on Williamson, now looks down low, coming off a 4.
He backed that car into turn number 3 to drive it down the front straightaway with a big run on Williamson. Wasn't able to make that work, but now he's up on the outside of 1 and 2. Bernier showing no signs of giving up in this quest to battle with Williamson.
And here's that battle for the 3rd spot we're watching as well. Mike Bowman and Gary Lindbergh. Yeah, that's Gary Lindbergh in the 37S this year. And those two have been at it as the caution flag back out one around up in corner number 4.
I'll tell you, every restart is a new opportunity for Steve Bernier to implement something that he's tried, to figure out a plan, try to make something work.
And we've been watching the top 2 so much that we've missed some of the great battle that we've watched between Mike Bowman and Gary Lindbergh. They've gone back and forth. 2 exciting drivers to watch on any night. There we see on board with Matt Williamson.
1 to go at the line. Scoring crew doing a good job tonight. Doug Leonard, of course, always on his game. A little bit of an argument between Mike Bowman and Gary Lindbergh as to who deserves that 3rd spot. Over the one-way radio, Doug Leonard explaining what the order is, and Gary Lindbergh getting into his proper position on the outside of row number 2 as we prepare to go back to green.
They fire it up in corner number 3. Williamson on it. Bernier continuing on that outside line. Let's see how he does this time through 1 and 2. Oh, he got a good run that time again.
I love the way he gets the attitude of that race car rolling around turns 1 and 2 again. He tries to come off the bottom of 3 and 4 to challenge Matt Williamson.
What a race to the front. Bernier back around, doesn't get quite as good a run through 2 that time, and Williamson will stretch the advantage.
Fun race to watch. Obviously, Matt Williamson is the best car in the field, but Steve Bernier is throwing every trick in the book to try to mount a run on the 6th machine. He's got a good run off of turn number 2. We are 10 laps to go.
Here he comes again, riding that top side. Oh, played with it. It cost him that time for Steve Bernier. He was reeling in the 6th. Not over yet, though.
Mike Bowman and Gary Lindbergh still going to town in that battle for the 3rd spot deeper in the field. Dalton Slack trying to hold off Austin Wood and Ryan Arbuthnot.
Still side by side is that battle for the 3rd spot. Mike Bowman and Gary Lindbergh. Bowman gets a good launch off of 2 that time, pulls away a bit. as we watch Dalton Slack and Austin Wood going at it. Both have had good runs here this evening.
Yeah, again, a couple of young drivers learning their craft, having a good run out here in the top 10. But right now, Matt Williamson, he's stretched out about 12 car lengths over Steve Bernier in the 25.
Six laps left to go for Matt Williamson, and the question is, will they catch lap traffic before this one winds down? It's still well over a straightaway distance between leader Matt Williamson and the last place car, Tanner Podwinski.
5 laps remaining. I don't see lap traffic playing a big role in this, Greg, but you never know. If someone falls a little off the pace, it can come back on the leader in a big old hurry.
4 to go. Williamson, Bernier. Bowman now has stretched his advantage for third over Gary Lindbergh. Todd Gordon continues in the 5th spot. Wood and Slack 6 and 7.
Williams now right around the bottom of the racetrack in 3 and 4. Looks like he's going to do the same in 1 and 2. Not giving much opportunity for anyone behind him unless they head to the outside. Steve Bernier. Man, I've been impressed with the drive in that 25 car.
2 laps left to go for Matt Williamson. He's going to catch lap traffic, but that will probably just about wrap the race up by the time he gets there. Matt has been checked out and gone. It took that one little bobble by Steve Bernier, and I think it broke all his momentum in trying to catch that 6 car.
Well, and you said it right. As we take the white flag, Matt Williamson has just not made a mistake, Greg.
No, and that's what it was going to take. And when Bernier made that one, that was the difference. Here he comes off of corner number 4. Matt Williamson will see the double checkers, and he'll win the lockdown showdown. Bernier second. Third at the line will be Bowman. 4th will go to Gary Lindbergh. 5th, Todd Gordon. 6th is Woods. 7th is Dalton Slack. 8th, Delario. 9th, Arbuthnot. 10th, Rouse. 11th will be Friesen. 12th is Leslie. Then it's Harvey Perot. And 13th, 14th, Neal. 15th is Darren Peters. And 16th will be the 72 of Tanner Podwinski. Those are all the cars remaining on the track at the end of that one. Matt Williamson win the lockdown showdown for Steve Bernier. It may have looked easy, but I think Steve Bernier put on a great run. He wasn't far off.
No, that's for sure. And I had a ton of fun watching him. That's the great thing about racing, Greg, is you watch them out there. Matt Williamson had the best car, the best driver and the best car tonight. But that didn't guarantee him the win. You've got people out there trying different things. Mike Bowman and Gary Lindbergh, they weren't off by much. They were just off by a hair. Didn't quite have what they needed to contend with the 6 machine. And that shouldn't come as a big surprise. Matt Williamson is the hottest driver in dirt modified racing over the last 12 months. He just hasn't been able to show it over the last couple of months as we've been on lockdown. But now with the lockdown showdown, he's able to take it to victory lane. Checkered flag is on its way. Clinton Jeffrey giving some instruction to his cameraman for the night, Dave Stiers. Dave Stiers, another one who's been doing this a long time.
Well, Matt Williamson gets unbuckled here in the number 6 machine, guys. He's been picture perfect all night. He'll work on getting the mask on and get out here to talk to us in victory lane. Here he comes. It'll be Matt Williamson getting it done here in the 6 car tonight. He'll come around and talk to us. Matt, you know, you were one of the guys who talked Dave into doing this deal because you just kind of had to get back behind the wheel. impressive night for you, but you pretty much picked up where you left off last season.
Yeah, we had to work for that. Steve was pretty good tonight for a track that he doesn't go to, all but maybe once or twice. It's impressive, and we had to work for it. So it's nice to be back in Victory Lane. It's nice to be back at a racetrack, and it's nice to be back hanging out with all you guys. And I wish fans were here, but unfortunately we can't do that right yet. But hats off to Dave and the whole crew for putting this on. It's pretty awesome when you can stream a race for free online and give the people at home that haven't been doing much something to do. So it's pretty awesome for the whole crew to do that, and I'm excited about it.
Matt, did you know how close Steve was getting on those last couple laps? Could you hear him? With about 10 to go, he started putting the pressure on you. One slip up from you, he could have been a new leader.
Yeah, I kind of heard him there. I didn't know where to go. Just kind of run around the bottom and move up a lap, see how it felt, move down, see how it felt. But we had a good car. We got some work to do to make it a little better. But we're right there, and I'm very happy to be back here.
Congrats, Matt.
Thanks. I got to thank S&W Service Center, Wayne, everybody that put this whole deal together, sticks with us and gets us through this whole quarantine thing is pretty cool. So hats off to, like I said, Dave and the guys, and thanks for having us.
Well, speaking of Dave, he's got a big bottle of champagne and a big check for you, and he'll jump in there and we'll give that to you. I'll get over here and talk to Steve Bernier. Steve, long drive for you guys, but at the end you almost put a hurting on Matt. You were coming at him.
Yes, a long travel, and Matt was very fast. Little bit faster than me, but it's a fun race.
Solid drive. Did you like the track here?
Yeah. It's very slippery, but it's good for my W16. Thanks my crew. Thanks Randy Williamson helping me for having a good car tonight. Thanks everyone.
Thanks for coming, man. Safe travels home.
Okay, thank you.
Steve Bernier, grab a second. We'll get over here with Mike Bowman. Mike, not a bad night for you. You got a couple of the good guys up in front of you, but man, you've been running good. At the end, the bottom started to come in for you a little bit. Looked like maybe a few more yellows. You might have been somewhere.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I was devoting all my concentration to having that battle with Gary Lindbergh. It's I don't know how many laps that was for, but what a great battle. Never touched once, I don't think. And 71 was rolling the bottom pretty good here. I got to thank all my crew, Terry Vince for putting together a solid bullet under the hood, and all my sponsors, Seaway Fluid Power, Bobby at St. Amand Auto and Truck, Ryco, Eco Fluids, Bicknell Racing Products. We couldn't do it without all those guys.
One last question, Mike. We talked a lot about the track. It seemed to be the story with the new clay. Was it that much different tonight?
Yeah, it seems like this clay is a lot more consistent. Like, it seems to be bonded together better. Like, it was a little bit dusty, but honestly, once you're racing, you don't really notice the dust. When we were in that intermission watching the street stock race, it looked like it was pretty dusty. But once you're out here going, it doesn't really you don't see the dust like you do when you're out in the stands.
First race of the year, you're on the podium. Congrats, Mike.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, there you have it from Victory Lane, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. We'll turn up to Greg and Anna and take us home. Your top three tonight: Matt Williamson, Steve Bernier, and Mike Bowman. Get it done here in the Lockdown Showdown at Humberstone. That's all for me, guys. Trackside, up to you to take us home.
Well, phenomenal night of racing, Adam, and so good that we were able to bring this to the fans, even though they couldn't be here tonight in person. To be able to put on a show like this, it was special to be a part of.
I love what we do, Greg. I enjoy my job. I enjoy working with you and Clinton. But tonight, we were needed. We did something. We were able to deliver something to the fans that I think the fans really needed. And we can't wait for the time that you can be back at the racetrack with us. But I think Operation Green Flag is off to a fantastic start. Mission Humberstone Speedway, at least round one, was a great success, I think. Round two is going to take us to Flamborough Speedway next Saturday. And again, it's just racing people are a special bunch. And even though we can't be together right now, we're still a big family. And it's cool for me to think that we went to a lot of living rooms tonight and shared some great racing. And hats off to these teams and drivers and Dave Bittner and his staff and everyone for being so responsible, doing such a good job with their social distancing and representing, because everybody knew if they screwed up tonight, you could ruin it for the rest of the promoters and the rest of the racers, and it showed.
Yeah, it was a difficult production to put together, and so many people involved, and that's the thing that I think I'm most proud of, is be a small part in all of this big family that put this together. It's an amazing production, and tip the cap Dave Bittner and the Humberstone family for doing what they did tonight, and thank you for allowing us to be a part of the Humberstone family here this evening as well. So that will wrap it up here from the new Humberstone Speedway. Again, don't forget, next Saturday afternoon, 2 p.m. start at the Flamborough Speedway, Pro Late Models in the Canadian Vintage Modifieds. You'll be able to catch that live right here on GForceTV.net. So on behalf of our pit announcer, Clinton Jeffrey, and my co-announcer here in the tower, Adam Ross, my name's Greg Kellnan, saying so long from Mission Humberstone. Operation Green Flag is kicked off and underway.